a very good afternoon to everyone who is present here. Welcome to today's highly anticipated webinar on career opportunities in the world of finance. We are thrilled to have you all join us today as we delve into the realm of finance and explore the numerous career paths it offers. This webinar is brought to you by SICASA's FinB forum in association with WICASA Vasai. SICASA is the students' wing of SIRC, which provides students a platform to learn, share, participate, and perform. And coming to FinB, it is a forum of like-minded students who are passionate about entrepreneurship and investment, providing the necessary knowledge and wisdom required in the field of entrepreneurship and investments. Also helping students by conducting seminars, workshops, hackathons, and other networking events to skyrocket your learning and growth. Coming to today's webinar, Career Opportunities in the World of Finance, we have two esteemed speakers, Mr. Abhay Bajoria and Ms. Sejal Agarwal, who brings a wealth of experience and expertise to our virtual stage. We are here along with WICASA Vasai, Secretary Rupali, and Committee Member Rahil Jain. I would request Rahil Jain to introduce our first panelist for the day, Ms. Sejal Agarwal.
I am Rahil Jain from the Vasai WICASA Managing Committee. Allow me to introduce the Sejal Agarwal, a highly driven and accomplished professional in the field of finance. With a strong educational background and diverse experiences, Sejal has made significant contributions to industry. As a chartered accountant, Sejal has acquired comprehensive knowledge and expertise in financial management and further solidified her proficiency in investment analysis and portfolio management through her CFA Level 1. Sejal's passion for entrepreneurship and startup has led her to be actively involved in the startup ecosystem. Currently serving as an associate at 100x VC, she plays a crucial role in supporting early-stage startups and facilitating their growth. Prior to her role at 100x VC, Sejal honored her skills as a valuation analyst trainee at Kroll and an industrial trainee at Morgan Stanley. Further enhancing her understanding of the industry, Sejal's well-rounded background and passion for finance and startups make her a versatile and forward-thinking professional. Her ability to combine her technical knowledge with a deep understanding of the entrepreneurial landscape positions her as a valuable asset to any organization or initiative she is involved with. With a strong foundation in finance, dedication to personal growth, and enthusiasm for startups, Sejal Agarwal continues to make significant contributions to the finance and entrepreneurship sectors. I request you to share your journey. Your perspective and insight would undoubtedly provide invaluable guidance to those who aspire to excel in the finance industry. Thank you.
And coming to our second panelist for the day, Mr. Abhay Bajoria. Allow me to introduce him, a highly accomplished professional with a remarkable track record of achievements. Abhay currently serves as the Fuel for Growth Program Manager at Unilever, a leading global consumer goods company. Abhay's exceptional academic accomplishments reflect his dedication and commitment to excellence. He has earned the prestigious title of All India Rank 1 in the CA Final Examination, along with AIR 16 at the IPCC level, solidifying his expertise and knowledge in this domain. In addition to his CA qualifications, he has also cleared all the levels of CFA, which demonstrates his comprehensive understanding of investment analysis, portfolio management, and other critical aspects of the finance industry. With his vast experience, exceptional academic background, and commitment to continuous growth, Abhay Bajoria is a dynamic professional who consistently strives for excellence in this field. I believe that your experiences hold valuable insights for aspiring professionals like myself. I would request you to share your journey and the lessons you've learned along the way with us. The dais is all yours, Abhay sir.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Aditi. Thanks a lot, Rahil. And thanks a lot, SICASA, for giving us this opportunity and platform to connect with students. First of all, I think this is a great initiative because somehow in my journey as well, while I was a student, I felt the need if I could have connected with someone who was there, who had already done what I was going through at that stage, maybe that would have given me some experience and some understanding of what can be done at that kind of stage. So Yeah, I feel really grateful to be connected with you all. Uh, I will keep it simple. Of course, SICASA has got their own set of questions, and I told the team as well that let's make this session really interactive. So I will keep it very short about me and what I have gone through, and then maybe Sejal will also introduce herself, and then the set of questions which SICASA already have, and then we will try to make it as engageful as possible, and then hear questions from you. It's a session for you guys, right? So let's make it for you itself. So quick intro about me. I am Abhay, based out of Calcutta. Uh, I qualified I qualified as a CA in November 2019. Uh, I did my schooling, my college, my BCom honors both from Kolkata itself. Uh, I'm a CFA as well, with regards to 3 levels being cleared. Uh, I joined EY during my articleship days, did my articleship from EY. Then after qualifying as a CA, joined Hindustan Unilever as a UFLP, which is basically their management trainee programs. So all the top tier corporates in India generally have got a leadership program, which are generally for MBAs plus CAs as well, when it comes to finance. So I joined Hindustan Unilever in 2020 May. So it's almost 3 years now. In fact, more than 3 years now. I joined as a management trainee. We had a course of around about a training period of around about 1 year, where we did various stints across the various verticals that are there in finance within Hindustan Unilever. And then I am currently doing my role as a Fuel for Growth program manager, which is basically the savings agenda program of Unilever. So the entire savings agenda for Unilever Global, we have a program called as Fuel for Growth, which we manage, and I'm the manager for it. Yeah. So this is a quick intro about myself. Over to you, Aditi.
Yes. So I would now request Ms. Sejal Agarwal to share about her journey as well.
Thanks, Aditi and Rahul. Thanks, Rahul, for such a comprehensive introduction. Guys, I'll start with my introduction. I'm CA Sejal Agarwal. I cleared my CFA level and then got lethargic to go on with the other levels. And I've done masters in commerce. So if I start with my journey, it started in 2017 when I cleared IPCC. So just after IPCC, I was also like, yeah, I want to do an articleship from somewhere where I can get comprehensive experience. So I joined a mid-sized firm, JMR and Associates in Mumbai, where I got very diverse experience in terms of management consulting kind of experience, financial. I got front-end experience where I represented my clients in front of officers. So it was very helpful. Then in a year, I switched to another place because for me, I thought I had covered the learning there. Then I went to CR Mehta and Company, where I handled a lot of internal audits for listed clients and all. So there I got exposure to corporates a little, but that wasn't enough. So I was very curious about the equity research part as well. So I joined Wagabe Private Limited as a like part-time associate, where I was involved in research and investor relations. So I explored that part of the investment side there, and I was like, yeah, this sounds interesting. Then after that, I was like, industrial training is something that can give me a lot of corporate exposure. So I applied for various industrial trainings around the world, around India. And to be very honest, being in Jaipur that time, it was very difficult for applying to industrial trainings at various locations. People were a little location constrained, but I got selection for two places, Credit Suisse and Morgan Stanley. So I went to Bombay to give the interview. They had a criteria of Bombay candidates, so I had to tweak my resume to literally be eligible for as a Bombay candidate. So those kind of things I've done. Then like I started with content creation as well, where I made videos to help the finance students and the students. So just after industrial training, I had a lot of LinkedIn requests around how to go about it, what to do and what not to do. So I started with content creation, answering all those questions. Got a lot of love there. 10,000 plus views on to YouTube, 25,000 plus views on LinkedIn. Currently, I have a LinkedIn following of 10,000 plus. So that was so much of a overwhelming experience there. Uh, then I like just after giving my CA exams in May 22, I was like, I want to work somewhere. And again, just before, even before appearing for exams, I again cold mailed a lot of people and reached out on LinkedIn, Naukri, everywhere to literally uh, get a job of valuation trainee at Duff and Phillips. So, like finding HR's ID in LinkedIn to literally pinging them on WhatsApp, on LinkedIn, pinging employees on LinkedIn, all those stuff. So that was there, and I landed up in Duff and Phillips. So just 3 years 3 months down the line there, I cleared my CA luckily. Then I instantly got an opportunity to lead the finance division at the startup, Series A funded startup, True Fan. So there it was a comprehensive experience. Like startups go where corporates go year by year, startups go 5 years in a year. So there I had to literally handle the investor relations, financial planning, each and every part myself. So it was a very comprehensive yet overwhelming experience. So in a year, I had to switch. I got the opportunity of being into investment over here. At 100x, I got an opportunity to be part of venture capital fund where I get to see around 200 startups in a year. They all apply. Currently, I have a portfolio of 130 startups with whom I interact every day, from due diligence to financial modeling to investor relations. Everything is involved right now as well. So that has been my whole journey. So, like, why I explained the whole journey is, guys, there was just one purpose that it is okay to switch at times till you find your calling. After a while, I realized that venture capital is my calling. So, since childhood, being from a business family, I always wanted to do business. But after coming to venture capital, I felt like, yeah, this is something much more where I can see more than one business. So that is how I have landed here. And I think like that would encourage you somewhere to go out of the box, try new things, and maybe you'll find your calling someday. Over to you, Aditi.
Thank you so much, Sejal. So I'd like to pass on this to Muskan Rakhecha. She'll be hosting the panel session for Sejal and Abhay. Over to you, Muskan.
Thank you. Ma'am, you were really very informative. Thank you for sharing your journey. I have a couple of questions for you first, ma'am. So my
Yes.
first question asked is, how is the financial industry evolved over the recent years, and how will it evolve in the future? And how will this
Mm,
evolution impact our career opportunities in finance?
okay. So yeah, like the industry has extensively evolved over the years. If you will see our dada padada, like our grandfathers and all, used to make bahi khata on notebooks, and now it's all on like laptop where we use Tally and different softwares, SAP, ERP softwares to literally do the accounting and all. As the businesses are becoming more and more comprehensive with the like more complex introduction of new digital currencies, blockchain, and all, the businesses are becoming more comprehensive. So the modeling of the business, the predictions, the projections have to be much more comprehensive, and thus it is going to be much more expensive from now to future. Like if I just say about the trading, earlier you just knew the trading of stocks. Now you see you can in there are so many new things. You can trade for digital currencies as well. Cryptocurrency is there, and in future there's in UK there's electricity trading as well. So electricity units are there; those are also traded. So those kind of different verticals and divisions are coming in, and as the businesses and these things and new asset classes are introduced and the businesses are growing, this is going to be much more complex, and thus the need of finance professionals are going to increase.
Thank you, ma'am. Next question I have for sir. Sir, for a student who is very new to the industry, where can he start for looking for opportunities which would match his interests or her interests? When I'm extremely new to the industry, how do I go about searching for new opportunities, and how do I go about exploring?
Sure. Uh, yeah, I think that's where articleship also plays a very important role in bridging that gap between a student's life and a life of a professional, right? So I think a lot of times people say that during your articleship, focus upon what's the work, what you're trying to understand. So I think most of the articleship firms that are there, you usually learn about tax return filing, all those kind of stuff, auditing, statutory audit, GST audit, and all those kind of stuffs, right? But I think somewhere, of course, all these things are very important. You should try and understand what you're doing. But apart from that, I think one very basic thing that we all must definitely try to have in our back of mind is to understand how a professional really works, right? So when you are doing your articleship, I think that is a really good forum to learn and understand how does a professional really behave, what are the expectations which your seniors would have from you, right? Because as a student, you're not expected, you haven't got that experience to work in a corporate environment. How does your management expects you to work? What are the work expectations? You are used to doing things on your own, right? So there were quite a few times even during my articleship days where I was studying along with doing the work, where I used to say to my friends that boss, studying it and giving the exams is comparatively much easier than actually working in that corporate life, because at least at the end of the day, even though you're really frustrated with your studies and all, you are your own, right? There's no one else whom you are answering to, right? But in a professional environment, one real key difference is that you are answerable to people, you are accountable to people, right? So I think that plays a very, and I think it's a very good opportunity for us as a CA students to really relish this articleship experience, because once you are qualified, I think the amount of opportunities which people will give to you, right, in making mistakes will be slightly less when you are there in the articleship tenure or period. Yeah. So I think that is definitely one of the great areas or opportunities for students to really leverage and bridge this gap between being a student and being a professional. Yeah. But having said that, of course, it all really depends upon what is your perspective in life. Of course, if you make honest mistakes even after qualifying as a CA, I think people are more than mature in the professional field as well to understand that this is an honest mistake. So yeah, I think articleship does play a very crucial role.
So, talking about articleship, how important is networking during the stage of articleship or industrial training? If you could share some strategies which would help us build professional connections.
Sure. Yeah, I think indeed networking is one of the key buzz that we all keep hearing about, right? Try and do networking and so on and so forth, right? So it is indeed very crucial. Try to have good friendships, right? So I when I was just starting about my professional journey, in fact, when I joined Unilever, I think our CEO, Mr. Sanjeev Mehta, he said one very crucial thing about the training period that we had of 1 year, right? Try and form at least five relationships with people whom you can count upon or bank upon apart from your professional life itself, right? So there are two things which are like really important. One is a professional relationship which you form because of just of the work that you're doing, right? But at the same time, I think it's very important to form that informal connection with people at your work, right? So how does it really help when you form that informal connect with people which are not just related to your work? I think that is like the best way of leveraging. Not only you get a friend, but you also get that pure connections which will help you outside of your work, right, as well, right? So if you're planning to switch somewhere, right, you can have that informal connect with that person. You can call him up anytime and say like, boss, can you help me, right? So try and reach out as many people with the diverse backgrounds within your available area of work or opportunity that you have, right? Someone has got experience in X field, someone has got Y kind of experience. So try and reach out to as many people as you can. But I think it's very important to have at least 3-4 relationships with people which you can kind of really bank upon when you really need to bank upon. Yeah. So I think that is also like very crucial.
Thank you, sir. Sejal ma'am, I have a question for you. Uh, what kind of practical training and exposure can one expect during the industrial training period?
So it depends on where you join as an industrial training. So, like if I tell you about there are various options. If you join an industry, if you join an investment bank, or there are other industry, other equity side industrial training also available, and which field you're joining industrial training in. So, industrial training, one benefit that you get is like you get the early exposure to the comprehensive professional world even before you are really out there in the world as a professional. So when I joined industrial training, I was the youngest employee there in my team, just because I was a industrial trainee and everyone else was all were CAs and professionals working for 2-3 years already. So that kind of experience was there for me. So from those people, you get to learn a lot. What is the office politics that goes on? What is the kind of how to act professionally? So there we like the corporate world is a lot different from what we have experienced in articleship. In like articleship, we are all friends there, and there we are like yeah, सब संभाल लेंगे एक दूसरे का सब संभाल everyone handles everything for everyone, but that doesn't happen in corporate world. You like there's even though you are informal and have a personal bond, you still have to be professional and accountable. So that is what like few things that you learn at industrial training. Plus, like the field you choose in, you get the comprehensive exposure. So, such as I was into legal entity controllers department. So there I got the whole financial reporting, US taxation, comprehensive exposure. Plus, they offer you most of the industrial places where you take industrial training. They offer you after training jobs. So even though like you are not really a chartered accountant, you still would have a good job in hand. That would like that is somewhat a sense of security. So like right now as well, I have a my safe place as Morgan Stanley. So that is a big thing for me or anyone to say, ki, okay, you have a safe spot at Morgan Stanley. So that is somewhat is the belongingness of industrial training. So those things are there. Plus, I think like no matter what, the pay for industrial training is much better than your stipends. So I don't know if that matters for you or not. So like overall, if you apart from that factor, the whole industrial training experience is very comprehensive and everyone should go for it.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, since you're a rank holder, I have the next question for you. The question says, looking at the amount of opportunities we have in the market, does it make a huge difference for a non-rank holder to get his desired role?
Sorry, can you come again?
So looking at the amount of opportunities we have in the market, does it make it any different for the non-rank holder to get his desired role or his desired job?
Yeah, I think it's slightly tricky because I think, see, rank and non-rank does play a role in terms of getting your first role or your first job, right? It's basically like the first door, right? Your degree can take you to the first door, maybe the second door, but not after that, right? So being a rank holder does have its certain advantages. You usually are preferred in some of the roles that are there, but having said that, it's not the only thing, right? So being a non-rank holder as well, there are lots and lots of opportunities which are there, right? I think even if I have to say about my company which I joined, right? So there are non-rank holders who have joined along with me and have gone on to progress quite fast in their careers as well. At the same time, there are other avenues available as well for a non-rank holder to get their desired role as well. The only difference is that, as I said, the first or the first role or the second role that you will be getting, there will be a certain advantage, or maybe the rank holders will be given that first preference as such. But at the end of the day, it's all down to how you perform, really, right? So once you are into once you have landed into a particular role, it all boils down to how you perform in that given role. What is your achievement in that position? That rank holder, non-rank holder just goes away after that, right? So I think that's the only main basic difference that is there.
I can add a non-rank holder perspective if Abhay suggests.
Yeah, please.
So for non-rank holders, like the initial job hunt can be very tricky
Yeah.
because rank holders get opportunities from BCG and these Unilever career programs and Aditya Birla career programs. But for non-rank holders, the fields are limited, that you have to go, like the basic opportunities that you see in the market are into financial reporting or auditing and like the traditional opportunities. And 50% of more than 50% actually of the students I've met don't want to go in those divisions. They also want to go for management consulting and all those parts. So that so going into management consulting or investment banking, those kind of things get tricky for non-rank holders. So for that, you guys have to like start from somewhere boutique or somewhere different to really reach there. So like initial start has to be boutique for non-rank holders right now, and rank holders can get the kickstart. So that is where rank matters. I don't know. Would you like to add something up there?
Yeah, exactly. Bang on. So as I said, I think it's basically about the first or the second role that you are getting, right?
Mhm.
So it does play an advantage. You have shown that merit, and then you have earned a rank in the exam. So I think that's how it kind of plays. But as I said, even if you're a non-rank holder, as long as you are working really hard and you're smart about it in terms of planning which role you want to do, how do you want to switch from one role to another role, you're like really focused upon what's your vision. I think you can definitely progress and catch up with say a rank holder as well. Yeah. So that's basically the main advantage or preference in the initial couple of roles that you get.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, I have a question for you. Are
Yeah.
there any networking opportunities or professional associates that CA trainees should consider during their articleship or industrial training? And what are the skill sets required for the same? Like, what are the most sought after skill sets for the same?
So, like, firstly, like the first question is your networking. So, answering your first networking question, so there are so many networking opportunities. starting from student events that RCA Institute holds. Very start, like from being MOC, I have been an MOC at CA National Conference, to being a speaker at national conference, interacting at those places, then joining various networking groups that are there, then connecting with the desired professionals on LinkedIn and maintaining a touch. So if you require a referral from them, if you just instantly go and ask, dude, can you give me a referral? So the chances of the other person entertaining your message goes down. Otherwise, then hi, how are you? And just networking around, then going for referrals. So those kind of things are there. Plus, like I think our MCS, GNCS, and ITT are amazing opportunity for networking. These days, residential programs are also there. So one can go for the residential programs of MCS. Those are also very beneficial. Plus, like there are other networking groups that are there, related to finance, related to investment banking, related to anything startups. So you can join those. Those have their own networking events. There are very various applications through which you can do networking. There is an application called Coffee Mug, where you can reach out to you can reach out to various professionals, connect with them over coffee, and like have their perspectives. Then there is something called Interbot. Interbot is again helpful to like connect you with the relevant professionals in the industry that you're looking for. Plus, always LinkedIn is there. So there can be networking anywhere and everywhere. There are so many events and conferences that happen in and around you. Go there, attend them, like share your introduction, connect them on LinkedIn. So that like even though not now, but in future, something or someone or somewhere will be relevant to you. It can be anywhere. So it has so happened with me that I had gone for parties and made some connections there. Those came into relevance when I was doing my job. So it can happen anywhere. So, like, just be prepared anywhere and everywhere. Connect with anyone and everyone that is possible. And you never know who can be useful and to what. So, yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Secondly, I think your second question was regarding. Can you repeat?
Skills and qualifications which are most sought after for applying for any finance industry.
So in finance as well, it depends. Like skills and qualifications that are sought after, it always varies. So if you want to go for equity research or investment banking, financial modeling is one of the skills that you can learn. It is any which way good to have your power over Excel. So one has to literally if you want to go into any profession of finance, Excel is your tool. You have to know it. Shortcuts of Excel, how to efficiently use Excel, and what are the different use cases that can be there. So Excel is one thing. Other is financial modeling that can be relevant for equity research side, and investment banking side. Third is somewhat, I think, knowing your financial reporting regulations. If you are into somewhere regulation side, you need to know your regulation. If you are into taxation side, you need to know your tax laws. So all those differs from like part to part. If you are into due diligence, you need to have legal understanding as well. Plus, you need to have some financial modeling again to understand the like due diligence processes that are going on there and that are to be conducted. You'll have to have a business understandings. So like one of the most recommended things these days is you for me as well, I was recommended by my teachers. The annual reports of various organizations are available online. Go through those annual reports and go through especially management, MDA, management discussion and analysis part and financials part to understand how the business is going, what is going on there. So that even though like you are a trader, that is useful. You want to read about the organization or know about anything about the organization, that is useful. You want to know the performance of the organization. You want to know understand how real business works. Those are useful. So that would be really helpful.
Sure. If I could just add over there, maybe as Sejal pointed out, I think Excel and PowerPoint are like your two must-haves, right? So any job which you are doing, not only finance, any job which you will do, you will have to be like really good at Excel and PowerPoint skills. But apart from that, I think one common buzz that we do see is automation in the industry. So try and if you can, in whatever time you have, pick one or two tools. Try to leverage in terms of learning one or two tools which are like which are related to automation. Yeah. Maybe one example which I would give is Power BI or Tableau, which are related to do with visual presentation or which visual graphical presentation of the stuff which are there in Excels, right? Even if you are not, even if the job or the role which you will be doing initially is not related or limited to Power BI or Tableau, at least having some experience or expertise over there will help you in understanding things a bit more better. If you are also interacting with some teams which are doing this Power BI or Tableau, right? Even if you have those experience or expertise or basic skills about it, it will help you in managing and having those conversations with those related stakeholders and teams a lot better. Yeah, because I think automation is definitely the way it will be working in the future as well. It's already here now, but as we move ahead more and more ahead, these are something which will become daily conversations, right? So try and do these kind of courses. I think there are a couple of ones which are already there on sites like Udemy. I personally did a Python course from Udemy because I really wanted to, because I literally didn't had any idea about all these programming languages and all those stuff. So I thought Python was something which was really useful. I got to know a lot of things which was like completely different from my domain, right? We all are from commerce background, and we often don't have that so-called tech expertise or programming expertise, right? So I think these are like very good to have kind of skills in your profile. It may not come really handy in your current profile or in your immediate role, but these are something that is definitely very good to have in your future as well. Even if you just mention in your CV, right? I will just give you an example. So I was hiring a senior executive, and I was supposed to do an interview. So I interviewed around about 5 to 6 candidates for that role or position. Couple of people had all these different kind of some automation tools, right? So that was like the differentiating factor for me as an interviewer, that see, this person has got this kind of skill, so this is an added skill or added advantage that you're basically giving, right? It's not that I immediately need that kind of a skill in that role from him, but that's like a differentiator for me as an interviewer, as a recruiter, to hire him over others, right? So it's all about these small things which you can try and add in your CV, which will act as a differentiator versus what all the others are, or what all others are doing, right? So yeah.
So yeah, that is absolutely correct. Like I also did a Power BI course plus learn programming in R. So like those are the things it is always good to have for standing out for CVs, to be very honest. So like definitely like I always say to someone who comes to for mentoring to me, that one coding language, knowing one coding language has become the necessity of the era. So we are definitely like not the whole of it, but some gist of it. Ki this can be acha. I know ki yeah, this is what it is, and I can figure out the rest. That if that is also there, so that would be helpful.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, since you have a lot of expertise in investment banking sector, we have a couple of questions for you.
Hmm.
So first of all, I want to know what is the role of investment banks in the world of finance?
Okay. So, like this is one of the things that has been a big buzz around investment banking. Everyone wants to do investment banking because it is one of the highest paying jobs. But you guys need to understand, following the herd is not the thing. Investment banking is a huge field. It has so many subdomains that you have to understand the various parts of it and then choose where you want to be. Investment banking in itself includes trading, selling or buying anything, or making the sale or buy of anything happen is what investment banking is. It may be stocks, it may be organization in itself, it may be mergers and acquisitions. So many things are there in investment banking. So it starts from buy side trading, sell side trading, to like mergers, acquisitions, to capital infusion, equity infusion, debt infusion, for different kind of syndication, enabling the in venture capital or high institutional investors to invest. So investment banking is basically being the mediatory in between the buyer and the seller. Buyer can be your clients, or the seller can be your clients. So buyer clients may be who wants to buy some stake in the organization, or buy some shares in the organization, or invest some capital in form of debt, equity, or anything. And seller can be who some startups who want to sell their stake and get some capital infusion, to some corporates who need additional funding. So that is there. To trading is basically also part of investment banking, where we do stock trading and all. So investment banking in itself is a huge field. One of the most most valued part of the investment banking is the acquisition deals part, which is the most famous for all. So in M&A deals part also, there are so many different parts. It's valuation, due diligence, and literally facing the M&A client facing role. So like in valuation, they do the valuation of the entity that is to be merged or acquired. And that is where Duff and Phelps, where Kroll I was working in. We used to work on valuation models to analyze the value on which this merger should happen. It includes your intrinsic value part that you read in SFM. So the whole corporate finance that you read in SFM is relevant for the valuation part. So that is there. Then like due diligence. Due diligence is checking in what the entity is saying is true or not. Due diligence is basically going through thorough each and every part of the organization that is existing, to check the contracts are valid legally. They are not really uh, not really breaking any law, and the models they are presenting are actually depicting the true image. The clients they are presenting are actually the true clients, the employees, each and every part. So literally scrutinizing an entity is where due diligence comes in. Then making the deal happen. The merchant, that is actual investment banker. The investment banker goes on and literally negotiates with the buyer and negotiates with the seller to make the deal happen. So that is where what the job of investment banker is. I hope I was clear enough to explain the whole process of it. Further, for capital infusion as well, the investment banker has the same role to literally negotiate with the both parties to come on the ground page and make the deal happen. Under them, again, there are these kind of things: valuation, due diligence, legal filings, all those all those stuff are there down the line. And over them, it's the investment banker who takes the who joins the buyer and the seller.
Ma'am, to add to all what you said, I have a question.
Yes.
So, what are the different kind of services which the investment banks offer to the world?
So so investment bank offer your capital infusion, which I told. If a big corporate wants a capital infusion, investment bank will go and get the capital for the investment bank for the organization from somewhere in the market. If they want debt syndication, so debt infusion, so the investment banker goes and get the debt, or the client is there. If the sell side client is there, who wants his capital to be infused somewhere as a debt instruments, bonds, or there. So the investment banker goes and find good deals for the client, which can be there. In startup sector, what investment banker does the startups need funding. So, and there are few VCs or PE or institutional investors who want to fund, who want their money to be invested. They have ideal capital. So investment banker will be the combined entity, like the middle figure in between both of them, who would make the deal happen. Okay, he's the buyer, he's the seller. He would act as a intermediary and get the deal happen. And investment banker takes the fees in between, or percentage fees of the transaction from the party that hires them. So like startups hire an investment banker, so they take like 3% to 4% of the whole transaction fee as their commission to earn the benefit. So similarly in mergers and acquisition, the client hires an investment banker. Okay, I want to have a merger or acquisition. So he'll go and look for synergy, mergers and acquisition deals in synergy to the client, and bring in the best deals. And again, like the amount that is transferred through the merger, the size of the deal size again 2% is taken by the investment banker for enabling the deal. So he's basically the enabler for the organizations, for trading desk. So client is there who wants to infuse capital in trading. So investment banker will come, though basically they are basically called traders. He would sit in the market and do trading on behalf of the clients. So that is what investment bankers does. So the JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman, don't Goldman has the investment front end investment banking desk in India, but JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley don't have their front end investment banking desk in India, who are the real time deal enablers. So those kind of things are there. So backend includes so many layers. Backend includes your due diligence, valuation, and legal team. And then below there, the inside organization, financial reporting, and all are there. So the whole backend is there in India, but the front end for those organizations aren't there. That is why investment bankers go for boutique investment banks. Otherwise, eventually, like Goldman Sachs has the for a front end as well in India, so they'll go for there. JP Morgan recently, I think, opened a very small division of the front end in India, so that is there. So that is how you really go about it.
Ma'am, since you mentioned it is one investment bankers are one of the most highly paid jobs, what are the career opportunities as a CA student we could explore in investment banking?
So career opportunities is, again, you can be an investment banker, you can be into valuation, you can be into due diligence. Big Four offers valuation role, due diligence role. Plus, like you can be an M&A analyst as well. But for M&A analysts, usually MBAs are preferred. That is what I have seen, at least as many people as I have reached out, and Big Fours. Further, boutique investment banking firms are there. So the big pay for investment bankers is the percentage commission they get. So like usually being from startups as well, deal size is usually around 10 crores. So of that 10 crores, literally 2% or 3%, 3%, industry standard is around 2 to 4%. So if I take an average, 3% flows around to the investment bankers. So count the 3% of an investment banker is 30 lakhs. So 30 lakhs is the fees for the investment banker for enabling one transaction. So that is how the investment banking gets the highest paying opportunity. But yeah, it again has so many things. See, in that 30 lakhs, they have to meet in the whole cost of the teams as well. And all those things are there. But that is why investment banking is the highest paying jobs. And it can be into boutique firms. Boutique firms also pay variable plus fixed pay these days. That there are some companies like Tres Vista and all have their back-end investment banking over here. So like it is a fine opportunity to go there. Plus like some parts these big fours have valuation and DD and M&A analysts as well, but M&A division again they don't hire CAs, so that is there. So you can go into those areas. Plus JP Morgan Stanley also have valuation division and due diligence division over here. Some part of it, due diligence I have heard less, but valuation is definitely there. Plus the Kroll, Duff and Phillips that I was working, it's one of the biggest valuation advisory company in over the world, valuation or advisory organization. So their valuation opportunity was again there. So valuation can also be done for other prospects as well, but mergers and acquisition and deals, basically deals are the major parts of it.
Ma'am, for exploring all of these sectors, what are the specific qualifications like or skills which a CA student needs to have?
So skills is majorly financial modeling. Financial modeling is one of the biggest things that they see for like Excel, advanced Excel, how to build models, industry knowledge. So in the investment bankers mostly are very like are somewhat industry specific as well. For venture capital as well, you get a little industry specific over time. So industry knowledge and how to build those industry models. So every industry, every sector has different kind of models to be prepared. So you can go and learn those. There are various investment banking courses around India that you can take. It includes investment banking and financial modeling courses that is to be done, because major part of the investment banker is valuation and playing around the valuation. So valuation is one of the biggest parts. Plus, acquiring the communication skills is the one of the most important job for investment bankers. Like you need to know how to negotiate, how to sell the product. So basically, you get the sales job, right? So investment banker is basically the sales job. You need to know how to sell your company. Currently, if I pitch my startup to any of the investors, I know about my startup. I need to know how to sell it. Otherwise, like the investment banker with low communication skills can't work on it. So these are the few skills that are required. People would say CFA is also, but CFA is somewhat knowledge enhancer rather than job giver for you. What I feel. So currently in this stage for me, CFA was a knowledge enhancer, but I did get edge over other candidates because of the CFA level 1, but I didn't get a job because of CFA level 1. I did get my job because of CA, but I didn't get a job because of CFA level 1. I got the edge over other candidates because of CFA level 1. Yeah, so that is there.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
I hope I cleared your question, Ms. Khan.
Yes, you did. I have a couple of questions which other people have asked.
Mhm.
What is an average pay as a CA in investment banking industry for someone who's really interested in the financial markets?
So if you're really interested in financial markets, again, you have to think of you want to go for trading desk. So there are organizations like Future First, which have their trading desk in India. So their variable component of the profits that you earn are also there, and the fixed component is there. So like, have you ever heard of you must have heard about the sales job, where fixed plus variable component is there, and their variable component is so huge because it depends on the client acquisition or the sale they make. Similarly, it's with investment banking. Like the variable component depends on the deals you do. So that is there. So initially the pay is less or actually similar to what other CAs go. It is around 8 to 10 lakhs or 11 at max 12 lakhs for the fresher CA. But I have seen 8 to 10 lakhs as an average for very the freshers. Plus, like eventually as you go, your variable component increases and the growth increases the simultaneously. So like you get 20 to 30% of the per salary as your variable. In trading desk as well, future first as well, you get 20 to 30% of your salary as your variable. So that variable component can be as huge as your fixed component. So if you earn 10 lakhs of variable, you earn 10 lakhs of fixed, you get 20 lakhs as a per annum salary. So that becomes a very huge. That is why there is so much attraction in this industry. But if you don't perform over here, you are kicked out immediately. That is the loss that you suffer in this industry. Like like the fixed component is also comparatively lesser than the other industries. So it is around 8K or so, 8 lakhs or so. So that is again one of the like boon points. But yeah, the salary part is somewhat that way. What was like, I hope the question was answered.
Yes, ma'am, it was.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Sir, I have a couple of questions for you regarding corporate finance. So I want to know, what are the roles and responsibilities of financial managers of a company?
Sure. Yeah, I think it all depends upon the organization in which you're working, right? So when you say finance manager, it all boils down to which area, which industry you're working in, right? If I take the example of Unilever or some of the top corporates that are there in India, I think there are a lot of finance verticals within finance itself, right? So maybe taking the example of Unilever, right? So it's we all know it's a FMCG company, right? The bread and butter of FMCG company is sales and supply chain, right? So finance, HR, all these other functions basically acts as a enabler and kind of a support function to all these different functions that are there, right? So what people in finance do is they have got different various verticals to it. One vertical would be the expertise functions, which is related to core finance domain knowledge, the likes of financial reporting, a controller's role, corporate audit, uh, tax expertise. So all these are like absolute finance expertise domains within the company. And then of course there are business facing or business end roles, wherein you as a finance person, you are supporting the marketing team. So that's basically called as finance business partnering roles, right? And of course there are other verticals to it. You can be supporting the finance customer development team, you can be supporting the supply chain finance team. So these are like the different verticals within the business, and then all, of course, all these different kind of roles have got their own pros and cons. While you are supporting a core expertise role, then you end up having a very domain end kind of an expertise, right? So if you are into a tax expertise role in the company, your career progression would be in the tax domain, and then your future opportunities would be more also like towards the tax domain, and you establish yourself as a tax expert, right? You have a core expertise in the tax domain. Similarly, while you are doing business and or business facing roles, I think you get a bit more varied opportunities in understanding what is the basic or what is the core of the business, right? So there are various brands and there are various functions within business as well, right? So you end up facing how does business really plays a role, what does supply chain do, for example, right? And what is the role of finance? You support and you do that key decisions in terms of let's give a very basic example, whether a particular machinery needs to be acquired, right? Whether I need to make investment in this factory, what is the best optimization of my distribution channel in terms of whether whether I need to cater to a modern trade investment, whether I need to establish, whether I need to do more investment in my e-commerce channel as a medium of distribution of my goods or my products, right? So all these kind of different decisions is something what you do as a finance business partner, as a finance manager when you're facing the business end role. So of course there are lots of opportunities. It all kind of boils down to where you definitely want to see in terms of having that vision, a quick 5-year 10-year vision, that this is where I really want to be, right? So you try and have more opportunities in that particular role.
So could you please elaborate to us a little more about the decision-making process? Decision-making process of all the financial, corporate financial decisions which we take. If you could elaborate a little more on how the entire process works, it will be helpful.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, so when you're doing all those decisions, so what is the key things that you do in terms of your day-to-day role, right? You have to do a certain kind of analysis. Of course, you have got your entire team, and it's not you that you're doing the whole decision making, but you end up taking that same kind of profitable analysis, what's whether it makes sense. So let's maybe pick an example of one of the recent projects which I managed, right? So there was this whole networking restructuring in terms of the factories that are there in terms of HUL, right? So we have got close to around about 30 odd factories all over India, across India, right? So one of the decision or one of the projects that came up was to understand how we can best optimize our network, right? Our distribution channel. So we have got 30 factories across different locations. Factory A produces certain kind of products, factory B produces certain kind of products. Then these products are distributed and catered to different states, right? So I had a demand and a sales and the production uh, 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 budget and the estimations and the figures. What we needed to do as a finance team over there was to collaborate with both supply chain teams and the sales team in order to understand what is the demand for that product in a particular state, what is the supply capability of the factories that are there around about that states, what is the cost that is involved in terms of bringing that product from state A to state B, that is from the demand, that is from the state in which the factory is currently located in, and to the ultimate state where where the units will be sold or where the products will be sold, right? So how can you best optimize these factories and the locations of it? So we ended up I think transitioning from around about 30 factories in all the states to having three main factories hubs in three of the states, wherein we were also getting tax incentives for having those factories in those backward areas. So it actually ended up making a lot of profit for the company, and we actually saw the business case being a huge hit. So I think these are like the various kind of roles or basically various kind of projects that you end up doing. But of course, it all kind of boils down to the role in which you are working, right? So usually companies like Unilever, you keep transitioning from one role to the other. So the lifespan of a role is like 2 to 3 years. So that also like really makes it very interesting for people in terms of it doesn't get really monotonous, right? So after a certain stage of point, it does get monotonous if you're stuck in that role or you're doing the same thing for like 4 or 5 years. But you do get this chance or opportunity to be part of the different teams and the different verticals that are there.
So if you could let us know the skills and qualifications we would require to get into the field of corporate finance.
Sure. I think, of course, one of the starting points is having that CA qualification degree, right? So as I said, that does play a huge role. And of course, the stuff which I just had mentioned before as well, try to have some kind of a differentiator in your CV, if you could. Maybe something like a Power BI tool, a course in Python, or some kind of programming language, some kind of data analytic course which are all available in various websites that are there, right? So Udemy is something which I know of, which is quite good, which I can recommend to all the students. You could go and check out, and since YouTube is also there, which is like a free kind of a thing, right? So before actually paying up and investing in all these different kind of courses, do your research, right? So I think it's very important to do your own research and not just go on the hearsay, what people say. Understand first what you really want to do, right? And how do you really understand what you want to do, and that will depend upon the research which you do, right? So try and read a lot of stuff, articles which are available handy, available free. Understand which really catches your interest, and then try and acquire those skill sets. Understand, first of all, understand where do you really want to see yourself, right? If you are sure that you want to get into corporate finance, or you want to get into an industry, right? Figure out like what are the 2-3 industries which you would like to get into. Then try and understand what are like the specific skill sets which you will require to get into those industries, right? So of course there are two different type of skill sets which I would say. One is the common good to have skill sets. So as I said, this automation tools and all these things are good to have, which will be good for all the different kind of roles that you do. But then there are specific skill sets which would be required for that particular job, for that particular industry which you are doing. So again, that will come at a later stage. So first one would be acquiring these basic good to have kind of things which will be good for all the different kind of roles. But then that will the second one, which is this role specific or the industry specific skill sets, is something which you can definitely keep on building as you maybe start a role, or you get more idea, you get more certain about like this is a career path which I want to choose, and this is where I would really like to see myself in the next 5 or 10 years. So you can start developing those skill sets as well.
So since you were answering this, there was one person who has asked this question.
Yeah.
Financial modeling course in online, when we complete these courses online, how acceptable they are, like how recognized they are?
Yeah, so if you're doing it from a recognized, established website, right? So these are definitely recognizable. Industries do recognize these courses, and at the end of the day, I think it all kind of boils down to the performance which you're delivering, right? People in the industries are very smart about it, right? They are all professionals. They have been they have gone through all the stages or stuff in your life which you're currently doing. They've already done that and seen that. So don't ever try to fake something on your CV. That's a big no. So if you're doing it from a recognized course, then of course these will be recognized, and all these courses which you do will given importance to.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, I have a question for you. Can you explain to us the importance of risk management in the financial industry?
Yeah. So, like if I tell you about risk management or internal audit, as we understand, like every in the big industry, as much as I'm aware, Unilever would also have a domain for internal audit, or every big industry have an have an department for internal audit, which really looks after if the things are efficiently run in the organization. So internal audit is evaluating the internal processes of the organization, if they are as per the like budgeted and as are controlled. So it is checking of internal controls of an organization. If the controls are in place, supposedly, if I did internal audit for pantaloons, so there was internal audit in that we used to check if the clothes had the soft tags and hard tags. It is very basic control, but that is there so that there is lesser of stealing. There is stock taking. So every like internal audit in itself has so many parts. It doesn't just include financial audit. Financial audit is a big part, but it includes other process audits as well. It includes SOCs. Some organization has IT audits, IT SOC audits. For that, like checking in if the like systems are working properly, and if there is any leakage in the system. So leakages, so internal audit or risk evaluation is done to stop the leakages in the organization, so that the data in the organization remains in the organization, and we run on the maximum efficiency. So that is the internal audit. It is done by Big Four, it is done by industries. So that is there.
Ma'am, as a CA, like as I asked you before, also for the other industries, as a CA student, what are the career opportunities I could explore if I want to get into the sector of risk management?
So, opportunities as a CA, risk management is in itself is an opportunity where you can go into again industry, either industry or consulting. There are just two parts of the risk management which I see. It is industry or consulting. In industry, you do risk management of an organization only, which in itself is huge. Because if I say any organization, Aditya Birla Fashion Group was there. Aditya Birla Fashion Group has so many outlets all over the world, and checking over each and every outlet to stop the leakages, and if the targets are met, if the leakages are there or not, if the processes are being followed, those kind of things were there in the industry specific internal audit. And if I say about consulting part, where you do you be on internal audit of one organization for 6 months, but then you move to another organization. So that is there, risk management kind of a thing, where you can be.
Ma'am, what would be the specific set of skills and qualifications which would make me different from the others who are applying for the same job?
So, as much as I am aware, risk management just usually like for normal other audits, apart from IT audit, for IT audit, engineers are also in the team. Engineers are taken because they have more understanding of the softwares of the organization. Software specific domain experts are taken. For other financial audits, basically CA is required because he has studied audit and have a thorough understanding of the checks which are to be done, controls which are to be checked. So again, audit evidences which are to be collected. So that is there. Apart from that, basic skills of Excel is always there. It is the necessity, Excel and PowerPoint. These are the only two skills major two skills that are required. Apart from that, it is very organization specific. Different organizations have different softwares. So you will have to build a understanding of the software and processes from one organization to another. So if you are doing an audit of an organization which is working on SAP, you need to know the SAP, or at least develop an understanding around it to really do the audit. So you can't do an audit till you understand the organization processes and how they are functioning and the software they are functioning on. So that is so it would go on the job basically.
Yeah, if I could just add over there, I think risk management is quite a niche industry which is there. So apart from the ones which Sejal mentioned in terms of the organization that would have the risk management department and the internal audit teams and the consulting teams, there are a lot of industries like the banking industry and the insurance industry, which requires real experts who have got niche expertise about it, right? So one of the courses that is highly in demand is a financial risk management course, which we know as FRM, where these people hire the FRMs. I wanted to do it personally, but then I didn't have the energy to or the time to invest in this course. But this is something which will again give you a very, so if you are planning to get into the risk management field again, right? So this is one of the course which you can do, which will give you opportunities in banking sector and the industrial and the insurance company sectors, to name a few, wherein what you will be be doing is analyzing risk, right? So when we say risk, we usually understand that this is something which is related to loss, right? But it's actually not the case. Risk is equally a loss plus a profit opportunity, right? So risk is basically opportunity, and that's where risk management comes into play, right? As Sejal was saying in terms of the investment banking pay opportunities as well, right? If you are performing well, you will get a lot of bonus, right? But at the same time, if you don't perform well, the chances of you getting kicked out is much more than compared to a normal any other field or any other job, right? So that is basically a risk which you are taking, right? You can equally be, it can be equally be rewarding, it can equally be a setback for you as well, right? So this is basically what you mean by risk management. How do you really manage this different decisions which you take in your life, which kind of gets heightened in industries like banking and insurance. Why? Because as an insurance company, again, you are taking a lot of risk in insuring a person's life, right? You're basically gambling, in other words, but it's not actually a gamble. There's a lot of maths and a lot of modeling which goes into play behind the scenes, and understanding what is the probability of me insuring these different segments of people, and what is the expected outcome, or what is the expected pay which me as an insurance company can recover if I am insuring these and these people, right? And this is where a risk management professional comes into play. Similarly, for a bank as well, while you are advancing a loan to a certain group of people, these are like this different set of documents which comes into play, which I need to get from these people in order to ensure that my bank is sufficiently insured against a default, right? What are the different set of characteristics or collaterals which I need from before I advance a loan to a certain person? Again, these are some of the decisions which a risk management professional will also be taking, right? Profiling the different customers. So I think again, it's a very niche industry. Of course, there are certain aspects to it in terms of what a CA can also do in terms of the internal audit. But if you really are interested in taking up risk management as one of your careers, it's again a very high paying job. But again, you will be kind of entering into a niche profile, and you will be establishing yourself as an expert in risk management. So again, be very careful while before you jump into niche industries like these, right? Because I tell you, it's easy to switch from a normal industry kind of a role, a corporate finance role, in terms of switching, the opportunities are more, right? At the same time, while you're entering into a niche kind of a domain expertise, after 5 years or 6 years into that kind of a role or that kind of expertise, it becomes very difficult to switch from that kind of a role to say a normal corporate industry role, right? So be very certain about it. If you're like really interested about it, then again, this is a very high paying job as well.
So, like to add on the skill set that is required or the qualification that is required, as Abhay mentioned, for financial risk, it's FRM, financial risk management. It's a specific course that is again from USA, similar to CFA. For insurance, there is actuary. Actuaries again by Institute of Actuaries, which is again they have an institute in India as well. Otherwise, the like major institute is in UK. So these are there. Actuaries is a very high paying job, but like rest parts of the risk management, I'm not sure. What do you say, Abhay? Like, I don't think
So
they
it's
are that much of a high paying jobs.
No, so again, when I say high paying jobs, it's the growth in these kind of jobs are like quite high as compared to the other basic jobs that are there, right? So again, one thing which you need to understand is the basic entry level paying jobs for all these fields will be comparatively lower, will be quite average. But it's basically once you are really interested in these in this particular domain or this field, you want to establish yourself as an out and out expert in this niche category, you do end up getting a lot of money on the go. But I think somewhere down the line, it's not really about the money, which will determine which kind of career you really want to get into, right? It's very easy for us to delve into which is a high paying job, which will pay me high initially. Of course, we want to get money. That's basically the main thing that we all are after. But at the end of the day, it's about which kind of career you really want to get into, your right? What is your calling, as we say, right? You end up devoting around about 60-70 hours, and in certain fields you end up even devoting more than that, 80-90 hours per week on the job, right? So it's very important to understand initially what is your real calling, what will keep you interested while you're doing that job, else it will become really monotonous at the same time, right? So when you say you are really interested about investment banking, you are really interested about risk management, try and understand thoroughly what this is all about, right? There are multiple courses, there are multiple avenues through which you can learn about it, right? There are, I think, hundreds of lectures or hundreds of different kind of articles that are there already online on Google and on YouTube as well. Try and go through that. If you have certain relatives who are already in these fields, try and understand from them what do they do, what is their daily job, what is their daily experience, and understand what are both the pros and cons of all these fields, right? And then only try and see whether this is a viable career opportunity for you or not. I think that is very important to understand before you get into these kind of niche roles, if I had to say.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there are a few questions which I have regarding the emerging trends, like as you mentioned before, artificial intelligence also. So I want to know, what is the impact of technology on the financial industry, especially blockchain, artificial intelligence, and race of fintech? And can you please explain a little about fintech also to us?
Sure. So I think, as we had discussed in the earlier questions as well, tech is something which is there, right? It's already there. So no one in the professional life can now ignore the emergence of technology, right? So you have to kind of make sure that you are, well versed with all these technical concepts that are coming into play. At the end of the day, see, AI will not be able to take up your jobs in finance as such, right? But what is going to be there is, if you have these kind of added layer in terms of the already acquired skill sets which you have, right? So as a CA, you have a very good basic idea or grip or domain knowledge of concepts like tax, audit, financial reporting, valuation tools like which you acquire from SFM, right? So when you merge, or when you acquire these already acquired skill sets, and you gain you gain conceptual knowledge about all these financial technologies that are already there, right? So I think that synergy will really help you to progress in your career. For example, in our company as well, right? There's a separate data and analytics team, which is like a dedicated data and analytics team, which is there, just like a finance function. 6 years or 10 years before, there was no function or department such as data and analytics in our company as well, right? So industries and organizations are having a specific department, a dedicated function for data and analytics, specifically. So that is like the scope opportunities which are available. So if you are like already have a core domain set of knowledge in terms of finance, which you are already going to acquire while you are doing the CA course, to have a domain knowledge or expertise about say all these technical technologies that are there, you get a lot of opportunities into the data and analytics field as well, right? So there are concepts like data mining, machine learning, and all these different stuff, right? So there's this big data, there's something called as big data, right? So what is really required in terms of what is the basic skill set which is required from all these things, right? In terms of data mining and all as well, you have thousands and thousands of data, right? What is required as a data miner or as a fintech professional is, how do you make that information useful, right? You have got raw data in front of you, how can you acquire more information out of it, and what is the information that you can present in terms of the business to make useful decisions out of it, right? So this is where basically a professional who is working in these kind of teams will come into play, to mine through this data through the different tools that are there, through the different AI tools that will be there at your disposal. You obviously need to understand, and on the role maybe as well, on the job as well, understand how these technologies work, There are different courses, as we have said, available online as well, where you can go and learn these different set of skills, and through these skills, how you can present that information, how you can acquire useful information which will enable decision making from that present set of data, right? So this is basically what you need to do and understand. So again, these are something which would be more role specific. And again, if you really are interested in going and delving into this, there are niche courses and specific to the core responsible roles. There are specific courses which are available online, and of course, you join these teams, you will obviously learn more on the role on the go itself.
Uh, so I'll add a few things on fintech. Like I'll just explain you what is fintech is to understand the very core of it. Fintech is finance plus technology. What our grandfathers used to do was used to make into bahi khata into a diary. If you automate that process, into through the help of technology, it becomes part of fintech. What Zerodha and all are doing is fintech. So enablement, what your money control is doing, it's fintech. So enablement of your financial processes through the technology is fintech. It can be delivering financial knowledge, like what money control and all are doing, to enabling your transaction or giving you insights. So everything is part of fintech, plus for like combining and making some quality instruments, like a small case. It is gathering various asset classes, and making anyone and everyone can make a asset, like pool of asset, which can be like into diversity, and then which can be a good investment opportunity as a pool. So that is fintech. So opportunities in fintech would go on, and in the sense ki, you wherever you see over the world right now, it's just fintech. So opportunity in fintech is endless. In like right now, if I'm funding startups, so out of my 20 startups, 4 are fintechs. 4 have different solutions and problems to be solved. One of my startups is pension box. What it is doing, it is solving the pension problems for the individuals who don't want to invest in who don't want who wants pension in future, but don't want to be invested in traditional pension schemes. They would want to have better returns, but don't want to invest in traditional pension schemes. So they have tied up and construed products in a way so that pension is they get pension in future while having better returns. So that is there. Otherwise, one of my startups is enabling um, loan against the securities that you are taking. Supposedly you're buying mutual funds, so you put those mutual funds as a security and take a loan against that. So that is one of my other startups product. So that is again fintech. So fintech has no particular boundary, and it has no particular scope. It is growing as the people are getting ideas about different instruments, different they see different opportunities. It is growing, and it has a huge scope in future. When I say about AI coming in place, everyone of us, I'm not sure everyone, but most of us would have used chat gpt. Chat gpt is your AI. I've literally written a book, like whole newsletter based on chat gpt. So answering your questions, making content about it, the way you are thinking right now, whatever I'm thinking, if I can get it structured somewhere, that is where AI comes in place. It takes information from everywhere, and it answers based on those information. Now recently, similar to chat gpt, bard has come in. Bard is from Google, where the all the data in Google is taken as a base to answer the questions that you are asking. So like a few of my startups are making products around the gpt part. Ki they are making finance gpt, that if you have any questions related to finance around what do you think about this stock, what are the risks of the stock, what are the reward points of the stock or anything. So that would be answered in those talks. Though that is also again part of fintech. So that is where AI comes in place. That is where chat gpt comes, that is where fintech comes in place. Machine learning is the unbreakable part of fintech, where all the tradings these days, so not all the tradings, but in an efficient market, tradings are done through algorithm trading. Algorithms are set in which, like, these coders are given tons of money to set an algorithm to trade efficiently. These algorithms are faster than humans. So if there is an inefficiency in market, they'll go and do the trades to like reduce the arbitrage opportunity that might have existed in the market. And that is where fintech technology, AI, ML uses past data to learn and evaluate the future results. So that are there. So those kind of opportunities are there in fintech, and that is how I see that future is like literally 100x from what we have right now.
Yeah, I would just suggest one book if you guys are really interested about fintech. The future, I think it was the future is faster than you think. It's a really good book on fintech. So if you're like really interested, I think it's a good book which you can try if you want.
Thank you, sir. So, ma'am, sir, I wanted to know why would a CA student be chosen over any IT professional in the fintech industry? I mean, I want to know how would we different? How would we be an edge over the others?
So, should I answer this question, or Abhay, you want to answer? I can answer.
Anyone,
Yeah.
anyone of you.
So, like, obviously, it is a very obvious answer. IT professional have the technology. The other part of the fintech is finance. That is where we have edge on. So, in internal audit, IT guys are taken, but again, CAs are there because audit is our domain. So, in fintech as well, it's the very simple answer. Technology is with them, finance is with us.
Yeah, I would also just add on over this. So as I was explaining the different finance verticals that are there, say in a corporate like Unilever, right? So I explained that finance does the business partnering role even in terms of the supply chain and in terms of the sales team that are there and the marketing team that are there, right? At the end of the day, these are the core expertise functions which these people are supposed to have, right? But where does finance comes into play? We have got our own skill sets. We are there in terms of we are in a unique position to understand what is what does profits and what does decision making really have, what does it mean really, right, in terms of business as well. So similarly, in terms of the fintech roles that are there as well, a finance professional will always have the core domain knowledge of finance, and then of course you need to acquire certain skill sets which are not just limited to finance, but you need to have that basic understanding of how a different algorithm works. You need not do and perform that algorithm, that is there for the expert to do, but you are there in terms of supporting and you know, ensuring that the right decisions from a finance angle are also made, right? So that is where it comes into play. It's just not about one in a team environment or in an organization. It's not just one professional having that specific areas of or understanding of that particular domain which is useful. You need to have a core diverse team which needs to do that decision making, right? Maybe just to give you an example, there was this lecturer who was there in TEDx. I don't remember his name, unfortunately, but he was asked this question: how does Barack Obama takes decision in his room, well, right, on war, right? This is not his expert area. He's not he has not served in the defense or the army, right? But he's the one who's making ultimately the decision, right? It's about you being the manager and you having that diverse knowledge, right? Wherein you have got experts with you, but you need to make those decisions based on what your area is about, right? So I think that is also something which comes into place. It's not about just having that core absolute knowledge about what is required in terms of the tech as well, but merging what you have in terms of the finance domain, and then again making that decisions.
Thank you, sir. Sir, ma'am, I have a certain general questions, generally regarding how do we choose a field once we qualify? How do we choose a particular field? Like, if I don't have a expertise, knowledge of all the fields, how will I be able to choose which is the best field? Like, which is the field which interests me the most?
So that, for that, articleship is what plays in the role. So the things that you did in articleship, things you liked and you didn't like, it comes into play that you do a certain thing and you realize this is something I don't want to do ever. Okay, and other things are like, okay, I can tolerate these in future. And one or very few of the things would be like, yeah, I really want to do this in future. So that is where the differences come in. So for me, it was like when I did some part of audit, I was like, this is something I can never do in future. Like it's not something that really interests me. For me, investment banking is also a field that doesn't really interest me. But I am into venture capital. That is why venture capital is something that interests me. So that is how you choose. You try and explore. That is the only way I feel, because till you don't try it, you don't know it how it goes. Theoretical experience again comes into play. Like I never liked audit as a subject, so I knew that this is not my thing. Plus, like the subjects that you are good at, if you are good at numbers, you like SFM and some part of FR, so you can go into those fields related to FR or SFM. But if you like taxation, so a few of my friends were really into DTIDT, you can go into one of those fields. So these are the one of the criterias. Like there are few ways. It's articleship where you get the exposures that you learn. Secondly are the courses that interest you. Third are the certifications courses that you do and learn ki okay, these are the certificates I did. Okay, these were interesting ones. I would like to explore the opportunities in this again. Fourth is talking to the professionals in those industries, connecting with them on LinkedIn and talking to them what happens, what is the actual role like, and see if that is something that interests you. Fifth is something one of the most important things after qualifying is opportunities that are available. So it's not that the everything that you want is available in the market for you at that time. So you have to choose in from the opportunities that are available, and like if in the available opportunities, which is the best possible one, is the matrix that you have to solve. These are the available opportunities. I have explored these, talked to the professionals in those industries. Okay, I've talked to the professionals. I like these subjects. Then choose out the niche.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, I would like to know what are the various ways for which we can search and apply for jobs?
Sure. I think most of that we have kind of covered. I think networking plays a very important role. Apart from that, so after qualifying as a CA, there are mainly two different modes through which you can apply, right? One is the campus placements that ICA anyways have, right? The second one is the off-campus placements, right? And that is where the networking piece comes into play as well, right? So again, being a rank holder and a non-rank holder, again, the kind of opportunities that will be there in terms of the off-campus placements will again differ. So that is also there into consideration. And then there are a lot of online websites or online tools through which you can apply. Naukri.com is one of the tools. Job monster.com, I think, is again one of those recruiting agencies that are there. So you can actively apply over there. Again, if you have got a good network, I think that is like really useful, right? What happens in terms of applying through a normal agency or a normal, if you're just applying on a website on a company website, right? You apply the CV and it's placed among the hundreds of CVs that are already there, and the HR will look into it, and then you will go through the entire process. But if you have got a good network, right, you have got someone who's already there in the organization. So what really happens is that it gives you that added push in terms of your CV reaching the HR or the recruiting manager a little early, right? The recruiting manager will be able to see your CV, and if he really likes it, if he or she really likes it, then you will get that opportunity or chance to appear for the interview, say quicker than what if your CV had gone through the normal lengthy process of HR, shortlisting the CVs and all. So definitely networking plays a huge role. You can reach out to professionals on LinkedIn as well. As Sejal was mentioning, try to have a healthy networking, stay in touch with people. If you just happen to place your CV to someone who you don't know, right? So I receive lots of hundreds of messages on LinkedIn. It's very difficult for me to go through all the messages, right? And that too coming from random people. Even though if I would like to, it's not practical enough for me to go through each and every message and each and every CV that is there, right? So if you have a connection with someone, someone was in touch with me, I remember his or her name, then it would be more likely that I would be entertaining him or her, and I would be seeing his or her CV and probably giving it a thought or so, right? So again, that networking plays a huge role. If not on LinkedIn, try and network with people when you're gathering on social events as well, wherein you see some professionals. So all these things comes into play.
uh, as as I have literally switched so many jobs, I've literally been into 8 organizations till now. I'll add a few things. How I applied for different kind of jobs. So there was so starting with uh, like obviously there are websites, Naukri.com, Indeed, Monster, IM Job, Shine, now cut shots. If you want to go for startups, there is Hirect. So plus if you want to go to specific funded startups, Sequoia have their own job page, plus Y Combinators have startup jobs. So different industries also have different kind of job pages that you need to be there. Secondly, something that has worked for me is cold emailing. In a lot of industries, cold emailing has worked for me, where I've emailed to thousands of people. There are so many lists that I get okay, these are the emails of the investment banking HR, these are the emails of this, that. So that has something that has worked for me. Third is cold DMing on LinkedIn. I've reached out to thousands of people on LinkedIn if I needed something. Okay, I want to know about this. I want a referral for this job. Ye wo. So I have reached out to so many people there. So there is a lot of cold emailing that I have done. Plus, like LinkedIn jobs, especially one of the few tricks that I have used in getting jobs is like just Abhay mentioned, there is a job page on every website. So if you will apply there, you go into pool of applications. But what I used to do is see the available jobs there, and then reach out to people on those LinkedIn. Okay, this is the available job. Please can you refer my CV to this job? So if you give particular details to any professional, it is much easier for them to literally refer you. And why would they refer you? Because they get a referral bonus. And if you are being specific, they have the lesser effort. So the chances of you getting referred again increases. So that is there. Plus, what I have done is like again, there are some hiring agencies. So if you put open to work on LinkedIn, a lot of people approach you as well, and there are hiring agencies as well that you can that approach you. So they also they also help you get the jobs. There is this Michael John's page or something is there for investment banking kind of hiring. So I can specifically tell the page name. I don't remember it right now. Michael something page is there. So that can be helpful. So these are the very specific organizations as well in the industries that can be helpful for you to get a job, because the way we think that there is limited jobs and unlimited professionals, the it is one of the opposite things for organizations. Sometimes they need a very specific pool of candidates, but they aren't able to find it, so they also pay the organizations to find the candidate for them. And so that is why reaching out to these organizations can be helpful. Plus, like yeah, I think is there any plus, yes, what there are groups on Telegram for jobs where they post about job postings, so that you can join to know about the job postings, and they provide referrals as well, so that can be helpful. So these are various different ways and tricks that you can use. Plus, what I used to do is some job posts are posted in the job section of the LinkedIn, others are posted in the posts. So if there is an urgent requirement, some higher authority will make a post out of it and post it on LinkedIn. So I used to go on available posts and search for hashtags of hiring. So related to my job, a hashtag of my job description, supposedly hashtag investment banking hiring or investment banking hiring, and then filter it for posts. So available posts would be visible. And there I used to like apply, see like, okay, this is they give the email address as well. So that is where I reached out to a lot of people. So somewhat my experience of so many different jobs came through these kind of things.
Ma'am, so how reliable are these Telegram groups and these hashtags while applying for jobs?
These are reliable. I got my 100x job through post on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Uh, so yeah, like even though you can't get the exact job, you will get the email ID. Email IDs are not available to you on other pages, other platforms. This posts are something where you can get the email IDs, and the groups are there for giving you the openings. Again, openings is what you need to know. Rest you can reach out to people for referral, because referral is obviously better. So these are some tricks that you can use.
Yeah, just to add in terms of the searching for jobs on LinkedIn and these kind of platforms that are there, right? So try and have your list of target industry or target companies that you want to probably join, right? So definitely follow those companies. And as Sejal was saying, there are often lots of posts and openings which are posted on these websites like LinkedIn for sure, by professionals, by HR. Even we do post on LinkedIn for any hiring or any vacancies that are there in our teams on LinkedIn. So it does play an advantage if you're already following that company or that person. It would be easy for you to at least be aware of the openings or vacancies that are there, and you can place your CV and apply for that job.
Sir, we would like to know, how do we prepare for an interview? What are the basic key checkpoints now, since all of us have written our May examinations and we'll wait for our results in July? So, what are the kind of things we need to have in mind to
Yeah,
prepare for an interview?
yeah. I think one of the most important thing while you are at the stage for preparing for your interviews and all is to be really aware about the current affairs. I think that is like absolute necessity, and not necessarily at the time of preparing for your interviews, right? One habit which I would recommend to all, right, is read a financial newspaper or article on a daily basis, right? So I personally read e-times, which is a very handy website which is already there on your mobile and maybe on your laptop. Try and invest at least 30 minutes on a daily basis, whatever time or slot works for you on a daily basis, which will keep you interested, right? So what I used to do was even I will do this as of now as well, is I always give a lot around about an hour for me, for myself, on understanding and what are the current scenarios and what are the current affairs which are really happening, right? So I go through and read certain articles which interest me, which catches my eye, and then any word which I don't understand in that article, right? So I pick that word up and then maybe just type it on Google and understand, and then that automatically leads to some articles which appears on that topic, and then I go through those articles. So it's a way of understanding on a random basis, not just so what happens if you really want to spend time and you are reading about some random articles, it will not really interest you, right? But if some word catches you and that makes you interested, right, then if you go and click and understand about that, you will be learning something new, right? So that is one habit which I would really recommend. But for the interview, specific preparations that are required is, again, understand which are the roles or industries in which you will be applying for, right? So if you are applying in a company like, say, Unilever, or say any FMCG company, you need to understand what is the FMCG industry all about, right? And maybe go through the annual reports, the past historical information which is already there online. Understand based on the financial reports or the annual report that is there, what was the profit, what is the revenue, what are the different segments in which the company operates, what is the main source of revenue for that company, right? All these kind of information is again very handy. At the same time, you need to prepare for your interviews based on the role which you are appearing for, right? So if you are appearing for a role in the tax department, right, then obviously you need to brush up your domain knowledge, or pick up your IDT books and go through your different provisions that are there, right? So if you're applying for a corporate finance role, again, you need to go through the different indices that are there, because the interview is more likely to ask you questions based on that particular role, right? Domain knowledge which you will have regarding that role. So again, there are two different kind of questions which an interviewer would really ask. One is about the current affairs, probably about the current affairs, to check whether you are really aware about what is happening in and around in the financial or the industry, or in terms of professional awareness. And then again, role specific questions which will be there for that particular role itself. When it comes to the interviews as well, there are different kind of interviews that are organized for different type of roles. If you are appearing for a interview in, say, a management consulting firm like BCG, Bain, or McKinsey, the kind of interviews will be very different versus what you will expect in any other of the industries. They will prepare you. So the whole process of management consulting firms is that they assign you or allocate a buddy 1 month in advance. They will give you books, they will prepare you for the different round of interviews that you will go through. There will be 4 to 5 different kind of rounds of interviews which will take place. One will be the basic uh, technical aspects of the questions that will be there. Then there will be a HR round, and then of course there will be a partner round in which you will have case studies to solve, and all these kind of different sets of interview rounds will be there. Similarly, if you're appearing for interviews like a corporate industry role, right, like the likes of Unilever or Aditya Birla Group, or any of the other corporates, big corporates that are there. So again, you will have different sets of rounds in this, which will be different, right? There can be an interview which will be held by 3 or 4 different panel, in which one would be like really grilling you, who will play as like the bad cop, and there will be a person who will be like the good cop. So again, to understand when a grilling interview is going on, the objective of those kind of interviews is to test what is the level of patience which you have, right? What is the demeanor which you present in those kind of interviews. So you need to understand for what kind of round of interview also you are appearing for, right? So try and have these mock rounds as well, right? So I think even ICA has got a couple of mock interviews that they organize for students, right? So I had appeared for that as well. So you can go and do that. I think that is also like really useful. Try and see if you could answer the questions that can come in front of a mirror, right? So if you're not good in terms of speaking, try and practice as much as you can in front of a mirror, or stabilize yourself, calm yourself, understand where you are making mistakes and what the answer you wanted to tell and versus what you are actually communicating or what you're speaking out. So these are like some of the little things which you can work upon. And of course, try and organize mock rounds between yourselves as well. So maybe 3 or 4 friends who you have qualified together, right? Sit together and have these mock rounds among yourselves as well, right? So we used to do that. One used to act as like the interviewer and the other one was basically appearing for the interview. Understand and pass on feedback. Be very open to feedback. I think that is also very important when you're doing all these kind of preparations. Be very open to feedback. Don't say that, oh nahi nahi ye to mera sahi tha, तू मुझे गलत बता रहा है. We be open to feedback and criticisms. I think that is also something which is like really, really important. And of course, keep yourself updated as much as you can, because there can be questions which can come on the current affairs and it will look very silly if you're not like really aware about something which is like the hot buzz going around and you're not able to answer that. Again, I think one tip which I would give is, if you don't know an answer, say that you don't know the answer. It's okay. The interviewer will not expect you to know everything. No one can know everything, right? If you don't know a certain thing, say that, sorry, I'm not aware about it. Maybe I will go and do some research about it, or I will try and understand from it after the interview. It's okay to admit that rather than confidently saying a wrong answer, because the interview, if he has asked the question, he or she will know the answer, right? So don't try to be like smart. Be honest about what you are saying. Definitely know everything that you have written in your CV, right? Again, it will look very foolish that if you have written something on your CV and you're not able to understand, or you have to look at your CV and then say what the interviewer asking was about, right? Because what the interviewer would know about you is the CV which you're presenting to him or her, right? CV is basically his only source of knowing you at that point of time before the interview starts, right? So try and, so again, something which I usually advise to people is, while you're giving an interview, try and see if you can actually take the interview through the set of questions which you are comfortable in answering, right? Try and answer your questions in such a way. So try and anticipate, if I answer the question in such a way, what is the next follow-up question that can come from the interview? So try to play on your strengths. Try and highlight that these are like my strengths and all, so that if the interviewer asks you the follow-up question on this, you are comfortable in answering those kind of questions as well, right? So I think these are something which are like really important. As I said, try and practice, give mock interviews as much as possible. You will obviously learn a lot more things while you're doing these kind of mock interviews as well.
I'll add two more things to it. Like I agree on all of it, and just two more things that have worked for me. Like these things, so obviously are the necessity. Like, see, knowing your CV is the most important thing and the basic thing. One thing is knowing the base answer to basic questions about how has been your journey, what are the goals in your life, what are your strengths and weaknesses, how do you where do you see yourself. So these are some basic questions that you need to have answers ready, like how has been your journey, tell me something about yourself. Don't say that everything is written in my CV. They know that, but like these are some basic questions they ask you to make you comfortable as well. But these are something you should always be pre-prepared for. Second thing that has worked out for me is a little different. For any job you apply, just go through the job description, and job description will tell you what you have to prepare for. If you know the theoretical knowledge or some experience in those areas of the job description, you will literally you can literally answer the questions are going to revolve around that only, because that is what they are looking you for. So for example, when I was applying for valuation analyst trainee, before the round, I just used to go through the whole corporate finance chapter, so that I can be well prepared for the interview. And I could answer all those questions, all the job description parts. Okay, this I know, this I know, this I know, this I know, before the interview. So that is how I think you should also play in.
I think just one more advice which I would like to give is, don't hesitate in terms of asking a follow-up question, right? So usually what happens is that our interviewer at the end, after he has asked all his questions, gives you the opportunity or chance to ask a follow-up question, right? So don't be hesitant in terms of asking a couple of questions which you have, if you really want to ask the interviewer, right? So I think that is also something which you should do. Not be hesitant in asking any follow-up question, like what is if you're not clear about the role itself, right? You can ask the interviewer quite frequently what is the expectation from me from this role, and all those kind of things as well, right? So be very honest in terms of answering the questions. I think that is one of the most important stuff. Never fake what you are answering in an interview, right? So that can be very easily caught, because as I had said earlier as well, all these professionals are like really smart, and they have been and seen all these things before. So never fake anything.
Sir, I have a question. How does the finance industry support entrepreneurship and innovation? How do all of these three go hand in hand?
Yeah, I think again, it kind of leads to the kind of topics that we had discussed, right? Again, in terms of the fintech that we were discussing about, as Sejal was mentioning, I think finance and fintech in general is kind of leading to a startup culture, which is kind of booming in India right now. A lot of people are really interested in terms of startups, and to be really honest, I think there are a lot of people already in terms of the family business that runs, that they are already entrepreneurs in some nature, or some way, right? Again, one of the books which I had read earlier is something called as Jugaad, which is a book on Indian startups and entrepreneurship mindset that we already have in our mindset somewhere, or the other, right? We as Indians are like really good in terms of jugadifying, right? I think we somehow manage to do something, and then try to find a solution to it, right? Give us a problem, we will try to find a solution. That's like the mindset that we have usually, right? So again, the role of finance is that you have an enabler, right? Having a CA degree and having core domain knowledge about all these fields, in the finance vertical, you have a domain set. It's now up to you how you want to apply that knowledge, or how you want to use that enabler, right? So again, there are lots and lots of opportunities in terms of startups and entrepreneurship as well. It's just about how passionate you are about doing, or getting into this field. I think passion is something which is like really important if you want to go into a startup, or being an entrepreneur. Because see, at the end of the day, while you're doing a job, right, you're working for someone. The ownership is not entirely 100% on you, right? Even if you make a horrible mistake, it's not that your own money is going down, even though ideally you should be accountable for, and then you should have that entrepreneurship and ownership about yourself, even while you're doing a job. But while like your real money is really invested in doing a startup or entrepreneurship, right? So you need to be passionate about doing it. I think that is like super important. So if you are passionate about it, and you are able to devote like 14, 15, 16 hours a day as well, I think being a finance professional, you are at an added advantage. Again, networking comes into play into this, because when you want to get into a startup, I think there are 3 4 very important things that are really needed, right? One is the networking, the kind of network you have. The other one is the core team that you have got. I think it's very important to have a very good core team. You in terms of the current world, you definitely need someone who is very good with the tech and the IT bit, right? Usually most of the ideas, or most of the startups that come into play these days have got a good app associated with it, right? Some kind of a IT enabler as well. So you need someone who's like really good with the tech in your team. There you need someone who's like really good with the finance, because whatever you do in terms of business, you need to have financial knowledge as well, right? So I think that is like really important in terms of the core team. And then of course the idea, right? What is the uniqueness about your idea? How uniquely does your idea or solution caters to a given problem that you have? So all these things are like the key essentials that are there before you start up, before you think of doing a startup, or getting into an entrepreneurship role. There are opportunities available in various startups as well, where you can actually go and learn about the startup culture as well. how do a startup really works. Again, if you get into roles like PE and IB, you have clients which are which are startups in nature. So that is also one good way of maybe getting some idea or exposure about the startup culture as well.
So I'll add on to it because I've
Yeah.
been into the whole journey of it. To entrepreneurship and innovation and finance. So all three is something I have seen very closely. So to connect these three, like if you want to go into entrepreneurship, like my whole family was into like business since very childhood. So growing up, I always wanted to do my own business. But to really build a product, you need to find a gap in the system, the gap somewhere, or the problem. If you want to solve an existing problem, or you want to enter into a market which is being solved, but you want to do something like play with the competition, or go into it with a some moat is your advantage, price advantage, it may be product advantage, it may be brand advantage, or like something that sets you apart from the competitors. So it can be anything, that can be solving the existing problem or something new problem. That is where entrepreneurship comes into play. Like the greatest entrepreneurs have been CA. Ratan Tata ji have been CA. Like Aman Gupta, Master of Marketing, Namita Thapar. Like these are all CAs. So entrepreneurship and CAs have been related because like what entrepreneurs require is like he or she might not be the master and all, but like jack of all trades is something he or she has to be, because सब कुछ थोड़ा थोड़ा तो like everything has to be there for a little bit. It might be on the process, like while you are doing the job you learn it, or you have the beforehand knowledge. So CA gives us exposure to all the fields, from finance, taxation, legal, business, IT. We have all struggled with IT. So everything is there in CA. That is why CA and entrepreneurship goes so much hand in hand. So that is there. Plus, to adding on innovation, we might not be good in tech, but we can always hire techies. That is the power we have. And to promote entrepreneurship, there are different incubation centers. So IIMA has an incubation center which enable entrepreneurs, startups, entrepreneurs, or person with an idea or how to go about it, or some product, to scale up their product, to help them with the mentors to really like develop the product, and how to hire the team, and how to go on further raising. So there are so many incubation center. Atal Incubation Center, IMB has Women Incubation Center. So there are so many incubation centers that can be helpful. I am from venture capital. For we are also early stage investors. So we have invested in startups which are literally on the idea stage, to the startups which are making good revenue as well. So so if you are really keen about entrepreneurship, there and there's no way, like people will help you. We help them with money, we help them with mentorship, we help them find people. Our funded startups have been, so many of them have been on Shark Tank. If you have if you have heard of Broomies, Kerala Banana Chips, all those from Shark Tanks are my funded startups. So like that have also grown. They were also not all like very pro at entrepreneurship. You just need to be there, and you just need to be passionate.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, I have one last question to ask the both of you, if the both of you could answer this. Since all of us are waiting for our results, and we have all the time in the world now, like because most of us will be waiting for our results to do whatever we want to do in the future, be it CA inter or CA final. So I just want to know how do we use our time efficiently? If there are certain skill sets we could like, or certain courses which we could do, or certain skill sets which we could work on, or certain books which we could read, as sir mentioned a few books earlier also. So if there are some tips and tricks if you could give us.
So like firstly, go travel. You won't get time to travel after you become like after you qualify, after results are out. There is so much stress, like you have either stress of failing or you have stress of passing. Even if you pass, what to do, what not to do, so much stress. Go travel, have fun. Whatever is in your bucket list, do it now. This is the time, do it now. Abhay, do you agree that after going into industry job, you don't get the time to fulfill your bucket list?
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely try and travel a lot. I think that is
Travel and fulfill your bucket list.
do
Huh.
stuff which you were kind of holding back for the last
Yes.
5 6 months, or like say the last 2 3 years, because
Hmm.
uh, I think we all will agree that CA as a journey is like a marathon, right?
Yes.
There are lots of sacrifices that each one of us make while going through this journey. Try and best utilize this period, but at the
Skill
same
sets
time,
are
yeah,
important, but
but at the
yeah,
same
like
time
still,
try and like do acquire these skill sets,
courses are
which
there.
courses which are there, the likes of financial modeling, which is there. Again, some kind of a programming language course if you want to, like Python is there, R programming is there,
Yes.
which are like not that intensive, time consuming, but you can have it as a good to have kind of a skill set in your CV. uh, Try and devote at least like 30 odd minutes in the day, reading articles or keeping yourself updated about the current affairs. So all these kind of things are there, but at the same time, do enjoy it. Like
Uh,
this is
do
one of the
things that
best.
you
This is
think
one of
that.
the
Hmm.
this is one of the only times you will be getting where there will be no pressure as such, right? Relatively no pressure as such, because once you have your results, as Sejal was saying, you will either be again studying back to study mode, or you will be preparing for your interviews and your jobs. And once your job starts, you get into that daily hustle kind of a mode, right? That old saying कि 10 कर लो यार उसके बाद मस्ती मस्ती है, 12 कर लो यार उसके बाद मस्ती मस्ती. This will never end, yeah. This will keep on going on for your entire life. So be in the moment, enjoy yourself, but at the same time, do invest your time in terms of doing these courses that are there. Try and understand like what are the problem areas or what are your weak points that are there, right, which you need to brush up upon. uh, Understand, like maybe once your results are out as well, understand which other industries which you would like to target, what are the options that therefore then which are available. So it's kind of a mix and play between the demand and the supply, right? What is your wish list and what is available on the plate, right? So you need to marry both those things and understand like these are like the viable options, these are the options which are practical. So therefore among these will be the industries which I would like to get into, or these are the like roles which I would like to apply for. And then start doing some research of yours, in terms of understanding more about that role or more about that industry, so that you're good for you are well placed before the interview.
A few more things that you can do is something that I did was I started my internship at Crawl Duff and Phillips that time. So you can go for some internships, 2 to 3 months, where you can work and learn somewhere, may it be into the field that you have interest in or something that you want to explore. So that is something you can do. Plus, about one another thing is start preparing your CVs, right now as well, like even if you're not looking for job, you're looking for job, start preparing your CV. You should have your CV handy anytime. Even though like I'm not looking for my job, I would still have a CV handy so that I'm prepared. Even though like my friend just says me, Sejal, best opportunities are available when you're not looking for it. So just apply and don't apply in big fours. because they have a cooling period of 6 months. But yeah, other places where there is no cooling period, you can apply or maybe prepare your CV at least accordance to that. So these are two more things. Plus reading books, definitely read books because those are self grooming and they open up your mind. So in finance, one of the basic books if you want to read is Rich Dad Poor Dad. It would open your mindset about the finance and how to deal with money. Another one is Psychology of Money. It is again would open your mind about money. And if you want to go into investment, so one of the very good books is Intelligent Investor. So it is again like amazing book to read by to like learn about investing world. And like some things you can go if you want to go about startup world. There's one book called 0 to 1, so that you can read for entrepreneurship kind of a thing. So there are n number of books that you can go through. So maybe dedicate half an hour a day when you are sleeping, read, travel, have a good lifestyle, have a hobby. I started painting my wall that time. So do something like painting, have a chill day, but just give it like 2 hours a day to skills as well, doing some courses. Forage, there's a forum called Forage, which has 2 to 3 days comprehensive internship, virtual internship kind of a thing from amazing like JP Morgan, from Bank of America, like the core investment banking internship how experience. Citibank, actually, I think it was there. So Forage is a forum you can go on and do those internship kind of a thing. Those certificate might be less relevant, but the experience is what really values. So those kind of things can be done. But yeah, like have fun.
Yeah, I think there are other couple of forums as well. You could go and engage in group discussion. So there are clubs which facilitates group discussions. You can go and speak over there if someone is not comfortable in public speaking, or if someone feels that he or she needs to brush up their communication skills. Again, all these things are there. So identifying, I think, what is your biggest area that needs to be brushed up, or which is like your weaker point, is also something which you should try and identify as quickly as possible, so that you could work upon those specific skill sets apart from the good to haves and the common ones which everyone will really work upon anyways.
For public speaking, the club is called Toastmasters
Yeah,
Club.
yeah,
So that is available in each city,
correct.
each locality. If you really have
There's
fear
a
of
couple of
public
free demo
speaking,
as well. You could go and
free, it's
yeah,
always free. Like you can go to
yeah,
any Toastmaster club as a guest
yeah.
and see the sessions and like have an experience of public speaking. And the Toastmaster clubs have a reach globally. So being part of Toastmaster clubs,
Yeah.
something that you can add in your CV as well.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir. We can head on to the questions asked by the students over the chat boxes. Uh, there's a student who has asked, would like to know more about diploma in IFRS. Is it beneficial to do at the final stage?
So, like a diploma in IFRS is basically related to financial reporting. So, if you are planning to go into the sectors of financial planning and analysis into industry, or if you want to go into investment banks into financial reporting division, so these would be that would be really having an added advantage. If you're going into auditing, then statutory auditing, then also it would be really an added advantage, but like these are the specific fields it would be helpful in.
Yeah, so just as I said before, doing any course or taking up a new course like this, it's very important to understand where do you really want to see yourself, right? So again, these kind of courses are like very niche to a particular set of roles that are there, right? So it's only worth doing it if you are like really interested in going into these kind of roles, or as Sejal was mentioning, if you really want to go into corporate corporate reporting, financial reporting or audit, then I think you should, this is indeed a good course. But if you are not like if you want not interested in going to these roles, then it will not make that much of a sense.
There's another question which asks, what are the online courses for investment banking?
Like you can check out valuation school that is there. There is one Pranav Dedia. He does Pura financial modeling course, so that can be helpful. There is Wall Street School that is there. They have a comprehensive program. Plus, they do offer job opportunities as well. So there are n number of schools. I did personally, I did my financial modeling, data analytics, business intelligence, Power BI, all those courses offline because I felt like that was adding much more advantage to me. If you have an offline opportunities, please go for there rather than online one, because in offline you have one-to-one interaction in these courses. You are trained personally, so that is much more beneficial. Like there are so many valuation school is there, Wall Street School is there, where I did from Institute of Financial Studies is there. Plus, like Coursera has a lot of courses, and Udemy has a lot of courses. Like EduSprint is there. So you can explore those. Evaluator is there. So just explore these courses. I think that would be helpful.
So the next question is, our ICI has MOU with Australian country. Otherwise, do we have to do CPA for the same?
ICI
I'm
has
not sure
MOU.
about it.
I'm also not sure, to be very honest. I think CPA and MOU always have different usefulness. CPA helps you learn to the particular area, like CPA Australia or CPA Canada or CPA US has has been related to their own laws. So even though they have MOUs, you might have to take like certain classes for learning their laws, and then only you will be able to practice there. Like even though you have MOUs, you're not eligible to have full-fledged practice.
Okay, ma'am. I'll go on to the next question. Sir, what are the opportunities after qualifying as a CA? I think you've answered this one already.
Yep.
So, where can we get the best certified financial modeling courses?
Again, something which Sejal pointed out. Yeah, so there are a lot of websites that are there. Udemy is one which I have personally tried, and then again, you can search I think YouTube is also one thing where you can try and get an idea of like which are the good ones which you can try and understand as well, right? So it's not that you would like to go for a particular degree. First, try and understand what that particular course is about, right? So maybe YouTube is something which you can try and get an idea about, like which are the courses which I can try. And then if you are interested, then sites like Udemy are of course there where you can go and learn these courses.
The next one is, in recent days, AI implementation doing some organizations. So is it any impact for financial sector? So the question is, does AI implementation have any impact for the financial sector?
So
Yeah, again,
yeah,
I think this is more or less covered
yeah.
with respect to the fintech and all the technological progress that is coming already there in the finance. So you need to be like really well versed, not necessary to have expertise, but need to understand the basics at least. But again, very role specific. So if your role demands, then you need to delve a little more into it. But having common or basic idea about all these technologies will definitely be like a good help and differentiator in your CV and in your profile.
Yeah, plus like be updated. Like as the technology is going, if you don't go hand in hand, you will go obsolete.
Yep.
So that is something all you have to be there. Plus, like AI increases the like scope of the financial sectors as well. Like as again, as I mentioned earlier as well, as the complexities of the business increases, the need for financial professionals increases. Yeah.
There is one situation somebody has typed in the chat box. I'll like to read it to you. I am doing my CA articleship in a small town where there is no medium firm or big fours. We have no department, so everyone learns everything. I want to know if it would be more beneficial to do my articleship in a medium firm with departments in a city. Would would it have more exposure and learning opportunities, personal growth? Also, I'm into employment into future and not really into practicing.
I personally did my articleship from a like firm which didn't have any departments, any boundaries or anything. We were a 20 employee firm where like everybody did everything. I have sat in office till 2 to finish an audit, to I have represented my client in tax office, to I have done financial consultancy as well. So it doesn't matter where if you go at a place where it is where there are departments or not, but it is all the more up, like initially it is good to go to a place where there are no departments and anything, but eventually as you grow you need to go to a place where there are more structures to have a structured learning, because the places there we are right now, like for me as well, when I was in a very small very small to medium sized kind of a firm, the learning is very unstructured. Everybody is doing things in their own ways, and everybody has some specific, some of their ways, some of their jugards to do things. So, like, eventually, the structured learning is something that is more helpful. So, like, as you progress in life, yeah, you need to move on. But currently, if you are in the first year, it's okay, like at the end of first year change, try departments at the end of second year, or after and a half year and a half, like after even if you don't change, after completing 1.5 year, go for industrial training. Everything will be compensated.
Yeah, see, I tell you, it's all about the perspective. Everything has got its own pros and cons, right? So even if you're working in a mid-sized firm or you're working in a big four, or you're doing industrial training, the most important perspective is to have a learning perspective, right? Be open to learning, right? Because this is literally like the first time you're doing or experiencing a job, kind of a culture and environment, right? All your life you have been a student, so it's very important to learn and be open to criticism. Often there are times when people criticize their articleship tenure, and then they say XYZ about their manager or about their boss. But you need to understand and step into the shoes of that manager or principal as well. That what is their expectation out of you? Maybe you are right, that person was unrealistic, but you need to have that learning mindset that this is the stage where you will learn the most, right? So try and have that open mindset, and then you can make the best out of whatever opportunity which is available in front of you. But of course, industrial training is kind of like really useful in terms of understanding how a corporate company would kind of really work, or how does the corporate world really operates before you actually step into the shoes and become a qualified C, and you're a full-time professional. It kind of acts like a bridge, as I had said, between a student's life and a professional's life.
Thank you, sir. The next question is how to get articleship in startups.
You can't get articleship in startups
uh, I think
you
articleship in startups is not possible. But there's one catch. When I did that, so I took a 1 month off between my articleship officially, and I got into Quanta Analytics, which was a startup that was there. But again, these are something which you can explore or which you can't explore as well. But as such, ICI doesn't have got a tie-up with startups as such. So it's usually the options are not there.
Yes, same. I did. I heard did it on the personal grounds, but tech like as per I said, you can't.
Yeah.
Next question is business analyst and data analyst role in the world of finance and future prospects in both these fields. I think you've answered this already.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
go to the
it's
next.
a very lucrative role. As I had said, even in Unilever, we didn't had a data analytics department say 10 years ago. A dedicated team is now there, which is like more than hundreds of people are there in this department itself, which is doing so. Again, a very lucrative role.
Ma'am, is it possible to start articleship in finance domain? I mean due diligence or something like that.
Yes, it is. So, like Big Fours also have some opportunities in those domains and articleship into due diligence and valuation as well. Plus, like a few of the like good give like good organization good. There's Nucleus Advisors, which provides articleship kind of a thing into finance. Plus, like there are good firms if you go to, they always have a deals division as well where due diligence is usually done by CA. So due diligence is something very easy to get, like not very tough to get into, not easy. I wouldn't say easy, but not very tough to get into for C articles as well.
Next question is a student with multiple attempts in CA final. Uh, how would I get a job in a company other than investment banking? Which are the skill sets required?
That we have answered already.
Yeah.
Financial modeling and all are something you can go for. Like we started with that, the rank holders discussion that we did.
Yeah, see, as I had said earlier as well, being a non-rank holder, and if you have multiple attempts, it does make slightly tougher for you as compared to the others. But that doesn't mean you will not have opportunities, right? It's basically the first or the second row. So try to have those differentiators in your CV, which will try to compensate for all the other things that are there in your CV, right? So try and have a couple of courses, online courses, which will like stand your CV apart from the rest of the ones.
Uh, Next question is it good for student like us to do certified courses in IIM?
Yeah, definitely. If you get the opportunity, why not? Just only thing is the course should be relevant. The field you are working for, the field you want to work for, it should be relevant to that. Why don't you like anything that is esteemed? See the faculty qualification, alumni. If the course is good in all those aspects, go for it.
Okay, ma'am. So the next question is it better to do MBA after CA for getting placed in management consultancy firms?
For
See, again,
non-rank holders, yes.
yeah, again, it comes down to the fact that whether you have got a rank or not in terms of management consulting. So BCG, Bain, McKinsey, all these people only hire the rank holders when it comes to CS, and that too is at a position which is one level lower than a normal MBA would get, right? So that's the catch over there as well. So if you want to build a career in terms of management consulting and you don't have a rank, then it's a necessity to do a MBA.
Okay, sir. So the next question is um, since there are many companies being incorporated, there are also being companies being closed down. What is the scope of an insolvency practitioner in India?
Yeah, I think it's quite lucrative again, especially with the new act that was passed. Right, there are quite a few people which I know who were practicing CA, and they have given the insolvency examination, and they have turned pro in this field itself. So again, something which worth exploring into. But again, you need to deep dive into what it really means as a career, right? Do your research. So, and that's like a common advice for before you really get yourself into a particular domain or limit yourself into a particular domain or take up any new other course, right? Try and do that research as to what are the possible viable future options that are there available on this in this domain before you get yourself into, and whether it really connects with your calling and in your principles that you have, your beliefs that you have. If it matches, then of course you can definitely go for it.
So like I would add, this course is very good. Like my cousin is also did this insolvency professional course. It's by our very own like insolvency. They have it is in the whole campus near the MCA in near Gurgaon. It is there. I don't remember the exact place location name. So it is a very defined course, and it has very various opportunities as well. So there is an internal reconstructing that happens. So when a company is going down, internal reconstitution of the company is done to get it back to survival. So that is done by insolvency professionals, or somewhat that is also you learn there. So if you want to go into business, I think these kind of specific courses might somewhere enable you to learn a lot more, somewhat into internal reconstruction kind of a thing. If you're doing internal audit, this that is helpful. So like all these things would help you understand any businesses in depth. So that is, I think, something you can look for.
All right, ma'am. The next question is, if I do my articleship in mergers and acquisition department, will I get a chance to become an investment banker?
Yeah, like why not? So I know people who have done articleship and due diligence and all, and got a chance into valuation after that. Investment banking, getting into boutique investment banking firms, which are actually better and good than the bigger ones, is something really possible and really available. Like just do financial modeling kind of courses where you will be explored to the opportunities. Many of these financial modeling institutes called Wall Street and all, they provide you with the job opportunities as well. They will literally help you reach the final interview round of the like investment banking jobs. These are boutique investment banking jobs, but like these are always possible. Like articleship experience on the is like cherry on the top. Your chances of getting hired is much more than anyone else.
All right, ma'am. The next question is, apart from MBA, is there having any other alternative degree which is highly valuable in the current era?
Sorry, I was on mute. I think there are quite a few degrees which we have already touched base upon in our discussion today. But again, it all kind of boils down to which industry or which role you really want to target, right? There's FRM if you want to get into risk management. There's actuaries again if you want to go into banking and the insurance industries. There's CFA which is there, which is also there. So again, it all boils down to your own research. What is your core area of interest, and then of course there are options available. But before doing a new degree, I think it's very advisable to make sure that whether it's really valuable, because you will be investing a lot of money and also you will be investing a lot of time, right? So more than the money, it's also about the time which you will be investing. So you need to be very sure about, before investing your time into a new degree or a new course, whether it will actually really add value or not. If you are really interested in going into that niche field, then of course it adds a lot of value. I think CFA is one thing which is still more of a slightly comparatively non-niche kind of a role. If I had to say, even as compared to MBA and CA, it's still a bit more niche. But then the other courses which I just said, right, actuaries, FRM, all these are like very niche in nature. So you have to be very specific, very certain about whether you want to really go into that industry or not before taking up these courses.
To add up, to be very honest, the current era is not about degrees in itself. It's about knowing the skills and experience. There are two things that you play on. Initially, if a job interviewer doesn't know you, he has two things to see: your degrees and experience. If you don't have degrees, play with your experience. If you have good experience, you already have edge. If you don't have experience, you play with degrees. But degrees can just get you to the initial thing, but the experience can get you far ahead. So current era is not about degrees, it's more about experiences, skill set. I have a friend who just did a BBA and landed a job as product manager. Why? How? Like just from interning into a startup to another startup where she became the core of product, and to another startup where she became the product manager. And like product manager has a good pay scale as well. So like she didn't have degrees, what she had was experience, and that is how she landed there. And paid scale is like 3x 4x of the initial salary that CA gets. That is what is happening in this world right now.
Thank you, ma'am. I have the next question. Uh, Scope and directions towards capital market specifically.
Capital markets is again CFA is something that you can do. So capital markets in itself, like if you want to go into which side of the capital market, buy side, sell side, so different firms are there. It is not, I won't recommend you to go for, again, aim for the big firms, but the niche capital markets, for example, there is this there are a lot of capital market firms. They hire BCom grads as well. So to start at very niche to growing further, you can go there. I can't remember the names right now. I can get back to you guys on the names.
Okay, ma'am. So the next question is, career in finance is very hectic. How to balance work life in general and learning new skills? In short, how do we manage time?
I would be very happy if someone answers this question for me. But
Currently, I'm sitting in office.
but
Literally, I'm sitting in office right now. It's a Sunday afternoon. I'm taking this webinar from office. And for this webinar as well, my boss was like, why do you want to do this right now?
yeah.
I am in my office clothes. I'm sitting in my office. I'm taking it in the conference room. I don't know how to answer that after that.
No, but to be really honest, I think again it kind of boils down to the passion for the job, right? If you are like really passionate about something, then you will be able to manage through it, right? There will be times, or there will so usually what happens is that there are curves, right? There are times in which it's like really super hectic for you, right? And there are times where you are relatively free, right? So you need to understand and manage how to go through both those kind of frames or frequencies or waves that are there in your life. At the same time, it all depends upon the team with which you are working, right? It's you don't leave an organization because of the organization, but you leave the organization because of your manager, right? So getting a good manager is like really important, who understands you. So if there's genuine work that needs to be done, of course, that, and even if it takes time, it takes time, right? You are working, at the end of the day, that's what you're getting paid for. But if someone is like making you sit and there's no work, but just because the manager is working and he is there in the office, you also need to be there in the office, that's like a very toxic environment, right? So you need to identify that when you're working in a team, whether that environment suits you or not. If there's genuine work that needs to be done, then you need to do the work, right? You need to be honest to yourself. You need to work over there. But when there's no work, and then if someone is like really making you sit and you are there online and you are expected to be there in the office just because your manager or your team is there, I think that is something which you can avoid and maybe try and think of choosing a different organization. So I think that is there. One advice which I would, which I personally do is, whenever I am working, right? It needs to be like that, right? And whenever I'm off, if I've taken an annual leave, I'm off. Everyone knows in the office that if I'm off, then they will not call me or disturb me unless and until it's like really important, it's like really urgent. So you need to have that very thin line of difference, but at the same time, it's like, again, you need to be very passionate about what you're doing. Again, this is the reason why I keep going on this again and again. If you're not passionate about doing something, in the long run you will not be able to sustain yourself.
Plus, in like initial few years of your life,
Yeah,
for few years of your career, it's about hustling.
correct.
Go and hustle. I was working on Saturday. I'm working on Sunday. I'll be working for next whole month like this. But it doesn't mean that I'm very sad about it, because I really want to learn what I am learning over here right now, and I really want to do what I'm doing right now. It's okay. Sometimes if you want to do extra courses, you have to figure it out in the evening, 1 or 2 hours. You have to specifically do that. So my flatmate was doing CFA while working at JP Morgan. So she used to wake up every day at 7, study for 2 hours in the morning every day, and now and after that she used to go to office. So dedicating those 2 hours is something very important. For that, one thing that we used to practice was prepare a calendar. So calendar, if you tick one tick, every tick gives you the adrenal rush. Okay, oh, finally some achievement, a sense of achievement. So that motivates you to do next day as well. So calendar is something, calendar strategy has worked out. So if you want to do additional courses, study something along with work, that can be helpful. Plus prioritizing things would be helpful, but this is the time to hustle. Yeah. You're on mute, Muskan.
Thank you, ma'am. The next question is, what is the use of Swift in investment banking?
Swift. So Swift are the different kind of transactions, Swift transactions, but it's not used in investment banking.
Yeah,
So
it's more to do with the banking, the traditional
yeah,
banking that is there. You use it more in the banking industry rather than the
yes,
IB sector.
investment, exactly. So don't want to deep dive on the Swift. You can go and read about it, but yeah, it's not used that way.
Okay, ma'am. The next question is, ma'am, you repeatedly were saying about boutique investment banks. What is boutique investment banking? Please explain.
So, the transactions, the investment banking transactions are not limited to what is done by JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, or those. So, I already explained what are investment banking transactions. Investment banks are the enablers of any transaction of any deal transaction. It might be of capital infusion, mergers, acquisition. Like boutique investment banks are small investment bankers or small investment banking firms which enable those transactions. To name a few in boutique investment banking firms, there's Sparks Capital, there is KNAV Capital or KNAV Ventures. A lot of them are there. Google search boutique investment banking firms around me, you will find it. Google search in the Wall Street School page. You will find where they are placed. You will find a list of boutique investment banking firms. So there are thousands of boutique investment banking firms in India. Go explore those. They are good career starters, at least.
Moving on, the next question is, what are the career opportunities if we are interested in SFM?
So SFM again, as we covered, investment banking is there, trading is there, research is there. Research, it's in equity research. If you wanna go for debt instruments, those are there. Then there are institutional opportunities like private equity. Private equity is into funding of later stage of startups which have crossed Series D, Series D or a Series E kind of startups. Venture capitals are there where I am working, which invest in comparatively early stages, Series A, B, like pre-seed, seed, Series A, B, C. So those are there. So like so many of them. Venture capital, private equity, portfolio management. Portfolio can be any kind of portfolio. If I like a venture capital has a portfolio of startups. Like if you are working for any investors, like investment advisory firms, if they have portfolio, they manage portfolios of their clients. What are the different instruments the client has to be invested in? So those kind of portfolios are there. The portfolio management is there, equity research is there, trading is there, investment banking is there. So the finance field into SFM is huge. You just need to even find out the like point in SFM that you are interested in. If you are interested in options, futures, so future and option trading is there. Corporate finance mergers and acquisition part is there. If you are interested in equity part, equity valuation is there. So you just need to find out the area. There is a portion in theory covered about startups, startup financing. So those are there. So you just need to find out the your area of interest in that as well. SFM is huge.
Okay, ma'am. Sir, moving on to the last question for you, I want to ask you, can you please tell me how CA CV should be like?
Maybe I can share the CV which is mine. Maybe you could copy. We all have kind of, to be honest, copied the CV from some senior or not someone. But again, some of the points which you should keep in mind while preparing your CV is that be very specific. Don't make it an essay or a paragraph. Mention like key highlighters should be there, right? That which you would like the interview to go through, which kind of makes your CV stand out, right? Because to be really honest, as an interviewer, as a recruiting manager, I would go through the CV. The maximum time I would say devote to your CV would be 5 minutes, right? Not more than 5 minutes for sure. So I think it's very important to make certain points which kind of stands out. A couple of words which are like highlights in the CV. Again, it should not be more than 1.5 page ideally. Ideally 1 page if you can make it, especially given the fact that you will be making your CV or preparing your CV just after qualifying for C, and you will be still a fresher, right? So ideally, if you are applying for a fresher's job, then it should not be more than 1 page, at max 1.5 or 2 pages. Do mention your co-curricular activities as well. It's important to highlight areas or roles of responsibilities if you have managed, if there are any, right? Active participation in sports, any sort of co-curricular activities. If you were the head of any organizing committee in your school or your college days, or you have been associated with ICI, you have participated in any of the speaker events that keep happening. All these things do add a value, but at the same time, make sure that your articleship experience is also highlighted properly, the kind of clients in which you have worked upon. So all these are like the basic things that needs to be there in your CV. And as we have highlighted before as well, do ensure that whatever you have written in your CV is correct, factually correct at least. And even if it's not, on a lighter note, you are able to back it up, right? You know what you have written in your CV at least, and you can explain to the interview any follow-up questions that can arise based on your CV.
Yeah. Plus, like put it in bullet points, and it's good to have a pretty CV. To be very honest, add some like for me, I had a column in a CV, like one column to define my extracurriculars, and over here my experience. So, like good professional looking CV is always beneficial. Yeah.
Thank you so much for answering all the student queries, ma'am. And sir, Hemant will take over from now.
Sure. Just before that, I would again like to thank you guys for this platform which you gave to us, and to all the students who are there and the questions which we have not been able to answer to. I will be available offline even after this event, so you could reach out to me for any questions or any queries which you have on LinkedIn or on Insta or on WhatsApp. If there's a common forum or any questions which you would like to pass on to these guys, maybe I will try to answer offline as well if possible. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you so much, guys, for joining. Thank you so much, Hemant, Muskan, and Aditi for conducting it. We are really glad to be here, and it was an amazing experience interacting with you all. I'll drop in my LinkedIn over here. Reach out to me if you have any queries, anything that I can answer for you. I'd always be happy to help.
Yeah, thank you so much, both of you. It was wonderful talking to you. I have only two questions, specifically to Abhay sir. I just want to know about the management trainee program, which we cannot ask about that to many people because only few of people are going to that. So can you share the experience about that, the interview process, and the about the program which you have gone yourself? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's one of the leading programs that are available for a CA. So based on my experiences, so I got a call from HUL. There was a recruiting agency called as Fast Careers. So again, one of the agencies which you might look to enroll yourself in is in Fast Careers. They do have got quite a few good tie-ups with companies. These companies recruit CA freshers through Fast Careers. So they had reached out to me for the role of the UFLP or the management trainee in HUL. I think it was the HUL one was limited to only the rank holders, and in our time it was both the old course and the new course. So around about 120 odd rank holders were there, combined from the new course and the old course in 2019 November batch. What happened was they had done their initial CV shortlisting. That was the first round, based on which I think 40 of us got selected for the next round, which was the group discussion. So instead of the normal usual group discussion, which usually happens, what happened was it was peak COVID, I think, at that point of time. So they had given us a set of questions which we had to answer, and then I think some of the questions were like, if I was a factory manager and there were this XYZ of cost, how would I, try to bring down the cost of that particular factory, right? So again, these are something which you could relate from based on what you have studied in your CA course as well, right? The costing subject which is there are a lot of case studies which are there in costing, so you could maybe try and relate to those case studies which you have already done and then just apply some common sense and try to answer those questions. So that is the kind of strategy which I had adopted while answering those set of questions. And then I think then the other round was the PI, the personal interview round, where again there was a group of panel, all the director level people were there. So there were 4 people in the panel who had conducted the interview. 1 or 2 people were playing the good cops, the other 2 were playing the bad cops, and it was kind of a grilling interview. Again, the strategy was to make sure that I act as a composed person and don't go back on what something which I have said, right? So often the strategy which an interview tries to play in these kind of grilling interviews is that they try to see if you are sticking to your answer, at least, right? You are not getting confused or you're not getting deviated from the point which you are making, but at the same time you are receptive to what others are trying to say, right? You are taking the feedback, but you maintain your stand, at least, right? So again, those are something which was like really nice. Then I got into the role. It was a 1 year 12. So basically the management training program in HUL is of like 12 months. you work in you work in like 6-7 different verticals within finance, right? So the ones which I had just mentioned, explaining the different opportunities which are there for a finance manager. So there's a vertical which is there in controllers team, which is basically the audit team. There's a vertical in the corporate finance team where you are doing the financial reporting. Then there are opportunities in the marketing finance team, wherein you are working with the marketing team as a finance professional and working and helping on the business end. Then there's a supply chain finance team as well, wherein you are collaborating with the supply chain team and you're giving your inputs as a finance professional over there. So all these different verticals and exposures were there, which I think really stands out in this management training program. So very early on, you are working with a lot of great individuals and a lot of well-established professionals in all these different verticals, and you get to understand a really lot about the different verticals that are there, right? Which puts you in a very unique position once you become a manager. Because see, one of the most important things to do as a manager is not actually just doing the job, but getting the job done as well, right? That's like really important, getting the best out of your entire team. So you are basically acting, so a manager is like the middle level position in the entire organization hierarchy, right? There's the senior leadership team, and then there's obviously the senior executives or the executives or the assistant managers that are there. Your entire team is there, who are doing the groundwork. So you act as like that bridge between the senior leadership team and your team, right? So I think that is something which has been like a great opportunity for me so far, in understanding. I do keep falling back on my management trainee days, where I had interacted with so many different teams. One again very good thing about all these different roles or different stints is you get unique projects which are yours to be done. You are independently leading the project. So there are a couple of main objectives which the company has. One is to understand the role or deliver the project, but at the same time understanding about that team or understanding about that function, so that you are learning as well as you're delivering the job. So again, it has been indeed a very good and an enriching experience. And if you do get the opportunity, I think this is something which is like one of the better opportunities that are available for the CS. This is usually this kind of programs were only limited to MBAs. I will tell you, the batch which I joined, almost everyone was like a IIT Mumbai plus IIM Ahmedabad or IIM Bangalore, Calcutta. So those are the different kind of profiles, and those are the colleagues with you which you work as well, right? So again, a very good job, a very good experience or opportunity for building a very good solid network as well. So yeah, I think it has been a really enriching experience.
Great to know about that experience. I will try my best to get into that specific program. Yeah. And also, this is not in the topic, but in short, can you tell about your revision strategies for the exam? People who are writing exams also are there in this meeting. Maybe we will have a ranker talk later, but obviously revision strategies are very important for me also. So I want to.
Sure. See, again, it depends. So it's like a marathon, right? So I always have said, in whenever someone asks me about CA as a journey and in general, it's a marathon, right? You need to be very clear about it. So while you're running a marathon, it's not like a 100-meter or 200-meter sprint. So you are like really good on a couple of days and then you just go back and relax, right? It's not like that. It's a marathon. You need to be very well prepared for this entire journey, both physically and mentally, right? So it all depends upon how your articleship or industrial trainee, how much hectic it is, right? How much time you are able to devote yourself on a regular basis right after you have started your into a second year of your articleship, right? I think my preparations, my tuition started in the second year itself. I think my exams were in November 2019. The first tuition which I took was in November 17, I think 2 years before my exams. I was taking one tuition at a time along with my articleship in EY. I did my SFM and FR tuitions first. Then I did my rest of the stuff. I kept the theoretical portion. I did it as self-study, and then DT and IDT, because there are a lot of amendments to it, I did it at the last. My initial plan, my plan was to complete all my tuitions, including the self studies, at least once before I get into my study leave. So I got luckily I got 5 months as my study leave. It differs for people to people. I have seen people getting only 2.5 3 months of study leave. I've seen people getting 6 months of study leave as well. But whatever time frame you are getting, you need to plan it quite well. Prepare a good schedule for yourself. So the study leave period is like something which is like really important. uh, Try to make sure that all your tuitions are completed, and then that one round of self study is done if you're not taking a tuition for a certain subject before you go into your study leaves. And again, the number of revisions, how many times you want to revise, all depends upon person to person, right? My objective was to do 2 to 3 revisions of all the subjects, but at the same time, in the last couple of months, my strategy was to focus on subjects which I was not good at, right? So audit and law were like the 2 subjects which I was like terrible at. Yeah. If you give me theory, I am not able to memorize stuff, right? My strong point was always practicals. So those were something which was I kind of silently confident about, right? So my whole focus in the last couple of months was to focus more on audit and law. Try to understand and anticipate what kind of questions ICI can ask, right? uh, Go through a lot of mock papers, right? Again, this is something which is like really important. The last month or so, try and go through a lot of mock papers, the past ICA questions that are there, RTPs, MTPs. These are like a really rich source of questions which are already available, right? Because see, what happens in an exam is while you're sitting in the exam those 3 hours, if you see 1 or 2 questions which you have just seen before the exams, right, like in the last month or so, then your confidence level just goes up like this, right? And there's a very high chance that at least 60 marks or 80 marks of the paper in most of the papers will be coming from one or the other past MTP or RTP or the past year questions, right? uh, so if even if you catch 1 or 2 questions which you already know the answer about, your confidence level rises. So therefore it's very important, again, to while you're giving the exams as well, not to panic, right, while giving the exams. So try practicing these MTPs and RTPs in your last couple of months while you're just before the exams, and understand and have this mentality that this is a marathon. There will be good days, and equally there will be like really bad days where you will feel like, oh no yaar, ab to nahi hone wala hai, I should give up, right? This thing will definitely come, and this has happened with each and every one of us, right? We all can relate to this journey. But at the same time, it's just keeping yourself in that present moment, right? Understand that once you are done, all these efforts and all these hard work will be really like worth it, right? Me and Sejal, among the hundreds of ones, are like living examples. If you go through this journey, then the life after it will be like really worth it, right? So try and have that patience, that real mindset of not giving up. And in terms of the revision strategies as well, as I said, try and focus on like what are the areas where you need more effort, and like you need more time to be dedicated towards that, and definitely go through a lot of MTPs, RTPs, and the past year question papers as much as possible.
Thank you so much, sir. It will be really helpful for me and various other students. Actually, we will post this recording of this session in SIRC YouTube channel. So students will be benefited out of this. Yeah, a lot of students will be are asking me when it will be posted. In few days, we will post the recording. So we came to the end of this session. I thank Abhay sir and Sejal ma'am for sharing their wonderful knowledge and very valuable time. I know how much busy they are. I have followed up with them. So thank you so much, sir and ma'am, for accepting to do this webinar successfully. And yeah, this is not possible without my team, Aditi, Muskan, and WICASA Vasai team also helped us in organizing this event. So I thank everyone. Hope all the participants have got utmost benefit out of this webinar. We will be having a lot of webinars like this in future also. And we have various forums to be specific. This webinar is supported and FinB by FinB forum. FinB is Investment and Entrepreneurship Forum, which is under SICASA. There are two other forums also. Maybe if you follow SICASA, you will know more about these forums. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Finally, I want to thank again Sejal Ma'am and Abhay Bajoria sir for this wonderful session. Thank you so much, and
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
It was our
Bye-bye.
pleasure. Thank you, everyone.